Okay, I think we have it together here. It's always those last minute things that just no amount of my getting ready for this sometimes ever lets me avoid these things. Anyway, guys, we're live. Hello,
Woo!
welcome. Um, so we are session 31 of Adventures in Emathan. Welcome, guys, and thanks for joining again tonight. Been 3 weeks since we played last, which pretty short period compared to the 8 months that we tackled before that. So we will start off with our introductions. And Max, why don't we start with you this week?
All right. I play a gold dragonborn fighter named Kogaan Dremnaufinstrunmah. And fun fact, he wears full plate dark adamantine armor, which he crafted himself back in his home village. He was gifted these ingots of adamantine after he passed some educational stuff back in his home village. So, yeah, that's where that comes from. He's a handy guy.
Cool. Cool. And we'll Egan, why don't you go next there?
All right. Well, I play two characters. The first is Lafferty Jones. He is the high elf on the shelf. And every morning around the winter solstice, he appears in a different place in a different pose. You're not allowed to touch him, though. Otherwise, you won't get all his artificing gifts. I also play Douglan McKayne. And McKayne rhymes with Kane, and he needs one because he's an old fuck that can't move very well. And now he can stand behind the big guy and not get hit and fall down all the time. He has no interesting background. He's just here to help.
Alrighty then.
The 28 episodes of his background. Go watch him.
Yes. I forgot it all. Just go watch it.
Yeah, Douglan can't remember what happened yesterday. So
Yeah, he's old. He's old. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. Just roll him to the fight. He'll hit something.
And last but not least, we have Barry. Talk to us about your characters.
Well, it's hard to follow up that routine. I play two characters as well. I play Nightingale, who's a bard rogue. Some of the interesting things about Nightingale are the effort I think all of us put into our personality traits. Nightingale's known to hold people above any other loyalty. He's not loyal to a group. He's not loyal to a kingdom. He's loyal to his friends. And he holds that kind of relationship above all else. And Landis, who is our glass cannon of the group, he is a scribe wizard. And one of the things, I may have mentioned it before, but anyone who ever plays a wizard, you have arcane recovery. And this is, I feel, is one of the most underused abilities that mages have. During a short rest, you can recover half your spell level in spells. So that's a combined. So if I'm a 6th level wizard, that means I can recover 3 levels of spells. That could be a 1st level spell and a 2nd level, or 3 first level, or 1 3rd level. You can go up to level 5 in levels, and it's an amazing ability wizards get that is highly underutilized. That's
Cool.
all, folks.
Cool. All right. They weren't so much rule concerns as just clarifications from last week. We had a few conditions that came into play. The first was grappled, and having 8 months off, we were all trying to remember exactly how the conditions worked. So,
Speak for yourselves.
okay. The three of us were trying to remember what grappled was. And so a grappled creature's speed becomes 0, and it cannot benefit from any bonus to its speed. That is primarily the condition. There's nothing else. There's nothing to do with advantage, disadvantage, anything like that. The condition ends if the grappler becomes incapacitated, which we actually had. The condition also ends if an effect removes the grappled creature from the reach of the grappler or the grappling effect. So the grappling effect, for example, Nightingale has a whip and has a 10-foot reach. So it's away from the grappler, but by virtue of the fact that that whip can reach that distance. But if it got pushed away from that reach of his whip, then you wouldn't be able to stay grappled. And the second one we had in the session was stunned. And so a stunned creature is incapacitated. So you have all the same conditions as incapacitated. Can't move, can't speak, only falteringly. The creature automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. And that came out of one of the spells that the demons were casting upon you guys. All right. So we'll get into now our session recap.
I'm pretty sure all of those happened to Lafferty, by the way. All these conditions were at him. So
Lafferty was having a time, that's for
Yes.
sure. So we'll fire up some recap music here. And get into our recap. So, as the last session began, it was late afternoon on the 16th day of the first Trigon of Elok's influence. The Stargazer had just departed Tianchar Winery on its way to the city of Alagon to meet with High Commander Dragana Skyshield of the Vanguard. The party was determined to understand if the Dooms had infiltrated the Vanguard. If they had, all might be lost in the fight against them. After settling in on the ship and sharing a few drinks with Captain Murfitz Wiggle Wanderer in his Foggy Dreams Tavern, the party headed off to bed, knowing they had a busy time ahead of them in the city of Alagon. Shortly after the last of the party fell asleep, they all awoke in the dream. The party stood in front of an enormous rift 100 feet or more, rising high in the desert sky. Far inside the rift, they could hear roars and screeches that chilled them to the bone. Around them stood heavily armed warriors who appeared to be vanguard. A monstrous roar from inside the rift shook the very ground around them as demonic-looking beasts burst forth from the rift. The beasts immediately attacked, but this time the party did not wake up. The 10-foot-tall demons attacked with enormous pincers and cast spells that left members of the party stunned and confused. The party fought back as hard as they could, but it quickly became clear that this was not a battle that they would likely win. One of the demons attacked Lafferty, and shortly after, a second joined in. Lafferty was quickly grappled by the two, and despite a valiant effort, was quickly killed by the demons. As the last of Lafferty's life left his body, the party snapped awake in their beds on board the Stargazer, sweat from the battle and the desert heat still dripping from them. The next morning at breakfast, Captain Murfitz informed the party that the Stargazer had encountered a strange shimmering light that had surrounded the ship during the night. The light stayed for a short time, then slowly faded away. It did not seem to affect the skyship, so the crew had not been concerned. The party searched the ship for anything related to the light. As Lafferty and Douglan moved towards the front of the ship, small static charges emanated from Lafferty into objects around him, then stopped a split second later, a phenomenon that he could not reproduce again. The Stargazer reached the city of Alagon late in the afternoon and docked in the northern section. Captain Barlor informed the party that he would need some time to arrange a meeting with High Commander Dragona Skyshield. The party decided to take advantage of this time to visit the Infinite Archives, the largest library in all of Emathan. At the library, Landis was able to contact Zerelda Lunaridge, an acolyte of the Keepers of Knowledge that he had met during his last visit there. Zerelda brought the party to a special area of the library where tomes about magic are kept. This area had thousands of books, which the party spent many hours searching through. After 4 hours of searching and reading, the party found a book titled For the Love of Magic by Emonar Humblecut. The book chronicled Emonar's search for magic items throughout Emathan, including several items he could not get to for various reasons. Lafferty refused to stop reading the book, and the party decided to stay at the library for the night. Between Lafferty and Landis, the two managed to take notes on 8 possible magic items of interest before morning. In the morning, the party left the library and headed to Penumbra College so that Nightingale could check in as requested. The party met with Thrush, who invited them to his office to talk. Thrush asked the party to travel to the Sea of Sand to look for Whale Spell Wren, who had recently gone missing. In exchange for finding out what had happened to Wren, Thrush promised that when asked, Penumbra College would assist the party in any way they could. The party agreed and returned to the Stargazer to meet with Captain Barlor. Once again, back at the skyship, the captain was waiting. He had arranged the meeting with the High Commander, and the party left immediately. Traveling to Fangnor Citadel, the home of the Vanguard in the city of Alagon, the party was taken to the meeting with High Commander Dragona. The party explained what had occurred with Commander Rainier and asked her if she would submit to Douglan's Zone of Truth. She agreed without hesitation and proved true to the Vanguard. The High Commander told the party she did her best to ensure that all the Vanguard leadership was true to the cause. She had her suspicions about Commander Rainier, but could not find the evidence she needed to confront him. Dragona acknowledged that the party was deeply involved in the fight against the Dunes, something that she knew put them in great peril. She made the party honorary Vanguard captains so that they could call upon the Vanguard as needed in that fight. With that, the party departed the Citadel and headed back to the Stargazer. As today's session begins, it is late morning on the 18th day of the first Trigon of Elok's influence. The chill of the morning is quickly disappearing as the sun climbs higher into the sky. The party is standing in the main courtyard of Fangnor Citadel. A carriage has just arrived to pick the party up and take you wherever you would like to go. Newly promoted Commander Barlor has walked with you to the courtyard, though you suspect he will not be leaving with you. You guys did a lot of stuff last session.
Not bad.
It was a good one. Any questions, comments, clarifications from last session? Want me to just read through that one more time? Just make sure everybody's got it?
Yeah. I was trying to take notes, but you're reading so fast.
Well, you know, it's a fine balance. It's a fine balance. So you are... yeah, go ahead,
sorry.
Egan.
No, I was just going to say, did Thrush say, other than the general area where Whalespell Wren was last seen?
No.
Actually,
he gave us a town name, I believe.
You were told your to start in Vuland.
Booland?
Vu, V-U-L-A-N-D.
Does Nightingale know where that is?
No.
No.
Nobody has been to that part
Okay.
of Emathan before.
Got it.
Traveling to the Sea of Sand will be new for everybody in the party.
Okay.
And Vuland's in the Sea of Sand.
Vulan is on the coast in the Sea of Sand. Yes.
Commander Barlor, I just want to say congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you. It is bittersweet. I did look up to Commander Rainier, which, in light of the news now, is a bit of an embarrassment to me. I will indeed make sure that nothing like this happens again in the Kingdom of Evandor. But I am wondering, before you depart today, as you know, I will not be able to travel with you. I do have to spend some time with the High Commander, ensuring that I understand what needs to be done in Evandor. But, Douglan, if I could have a conversation with you alone.
Of course.
The commander kind of walks a short distance away from the rest of the party. And turning to Douglan, he says, Douglan, I wanted to speak with you about this for some time now. I am wondering if I could get your permission to enlist Maggie in the Vanguard. Maggie and I have spoken of this. She is interested. And Douglan, I can most certainly assure you that with Maggie's smarts and her already well-honed fighting skills, she will become a lieutenant in a very short time.
I don't want you doing any favors just because you know me, huh? She's got to earn it, but I'm sure she will. Also, I think her relationship with the Githyanthor may come in handy as well. So yeah, you have my blessing. Not that you needed it. She's a woman of her own mind.
She is, but she very much looks up to you, Douglan, and she was not willing to join us until I had this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Then
It's all right by me.
with your blessing, then when I return to Tianchar, I will speak with Maggie and we will have her enlisted immediately. We could definitely use someone such as her in our ranks right now.
How is that going to affect the contingent there at the winery? Wasn't she? I think she's been basically heading up the routine there. You got a plan for that? Is she going to station there? What?
That would be the long-term plan. Yes, she will enlist and train with the group that is currently looking after Tianchar. With your blessing, I will have the newly appointed Captain Arden take over operations at Tianchar, and Maggie will assume her place in the ranks. But like I said, I don't believe it will take Maggie very long to rise to a position of lieutenant.
Douglan reaches into one of his pockets, and there's just a little chain, and it's got just a little rabbit's foot, and it's something that Maggie gave to him some time ago, and he hands it to the newly minted commander and says, "Give this to her, and she'll know that is with my blessing that she joins the Vanguard, and that this is going to keep her safe as well."
I will most certainly give this to her. Thank you. We should return to the others. I don't want to delay you any further. I know you have lots that needs attending to, based on your conversation on our arrival here at the Citadel. With that, the two of you return to where the rest of the group's been milling about. And
trying not to listen in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those you walk around the other side of the trailer and they're all like leaning, trying to
fall
hear.
over each other.
Douglan knows he's not going to be able to tell Maggie what to do, so and he'd rather be part of this than doing her own thing, still fighting the bad people. So no, he's down with this.
All right. So you are, you have your carriage. You are free to go wherever it is that you would like to go next.
Off to the wilds, guys?
Right, well, we've been here one night, and we did agree to allow a little shore leave for the crew, so they might need maybe one more night. Maybe we can talk to the captain and find out what the situation is, and maybe we could, if there's anything else anyone wants to visit or anything, then we could do that. But if they're ready to go, then we should go.
Well, how about we check on the crew, like you said. That's probably a good idea. Wiggle Wander will probably know at what state his crew is in and if they're ready to leave. But if we do have a time to kill in the city, I might try some of my street contacts to see if they have any information about you-know-who being in the city, and we can catch wind and drift of him. Then perhaps a little visit might be in order before we leave, but it's a long shot, I know. But other than that, I'm ready to go. You know, we have a pretty surmountable task in tracking down Alanis Moonwalker, and I've got no familiarity with the Sea of Sand or any of their customs, so that could be an eye-opener. So it'll be interesting, but yeah, if we have a bit of time, I could take a shot in the dark.
Maybe we could find out if there's someone around here who has been to the Sea of Sands or is from there, and maybe could give us some insight before we go.
That's a brilliant idea.
Weather conditions we could expect, even, or the local flora and fauna.
Five-star restaurants.
I'm sure the docks would probably be a great place to find someone who does trade with them and would be able to give us a bit of... So we could kill two birds with one stone with checking in with Captain Murfitz.
Yes, indeed.
So shall we head to the docks then, gentlemen?
To the docks.
Yonder docks we go.
Okay,
We'll
you all board the carriage. The Vanguard have graciously agreed to pay for your fare back to the docks. They are great.
So...
They are gracious folks. Yes.
Generous.
Very generous. And you arrive back down at the docks. You at the Stargazer, you see that it looks like the full complement of crew are working on the ship. You know, everyone you would expect to see on a on any regular day. So your immediate thought is the crew just had the night off, and now they're getting back to their usual work.
Well, if you guys want to talk to the captain, Nightingale has to slip out for a moment and attend to a few things.
Okay. We'll relay to the captain our intentions, I suppose. Find out if they're ready to go or when they will be ready to go.
And if the captain might know another captain who has maybe been to the Sea of Sand. I'm sure captains all talk to one another. He would know at least, which part of the docks are traders from the east.
Captain Murfitz, he says, well, I've actually been to the Sea of Sand myself in the Stargazer once.
Oh. Well, what is it like?
Well, the Sea of Sand is an area that I have only been at the coast. You see, if you go to the Sea of Sand, a ship like the Stargazer, you can't go inland. There are very unpredictable sandstorms that happen inland in the Sea of Sand. Ones that could swallow up a skyship like the Stargazer before one even had time to react and get out of the area. They are pretty much every single night there is a sandstorm, and they happen quite at random, quite unexpectedly through the day. The area itself is a bit strange. Close to the ocean, it's sort of an arid land, but as you move further inland, it becomes more and more like a desert. And as you get towards the inland areas of the Sea of Sand, it's just desert. I myself have never seen that part. As I said, I've only sailed around the coast, but very interesting area. Unnatural climate it has. Those that speak of it, the climate of the area, there's something else at work. An area such as that should not be the type of desert it is.
Has it been this way for many years?
It's been this way as long as I know. There's stories. I've heard bits and pieces of them. I can't tell you the whole thing myself, but the Tiefling people, they call the Sea of Sand their homeland, and I'm told that they have stories of why the area became how it is.
If we cannot go into the Sea of Sand with the Stargazer, where will you? Is there a port city, I suppose, or somewhere?
There are several port cities that we could wait at, depending on where you need to go. Are we then maybe planning to go to the Sea of Sand? Is this what
I believe Nightingale had requested us to go to Vuland. Are you familiar with that seaport?
I am indeed. I think I have a map here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it for you. Just a moment.
Meanwhile, Colin, Nightingale's going to track down Dorman, Cookie.
On the ship?
Yeah, and make sure that they have birds for cooking.
Birds for cooking, okay.
Colin,
with a V.
All right, so this is the map that Captain Murfitz provides. You can see all the captain's map only knows of the port cities because that is the only places that the captain has been able to travel through. So up in sort of the northwest, there's Voling. Then east of that is Zray. Across on the other side is Sarka. And then towards the south is Vuland. Vuland is where Thrush said that Wellspell Wren was last known to be.
Roger Dodger.
Well, then as soon as our ship is ready, I would suspect we would be headed to Vulan.
Well, we could be ready within the hour. All the crew, yes, all the crew has returned. And a few of them got in a little later than expected this morning, but we are good to sail, and if an hour is agreeable to you, then we will set sail then.
Well, we will wait for Nightingale to return.
Oh, well, of course, yes. Yes.
How long do you expect it will take to travel there?
Travel to Vuland?
It seems farther than the travel from the winery to this kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, in order to get to the Sea of Sand, it's not a real direct route, you see. So we would have to sail along the western coast of Easterly and Blackmire. The mountains between here and the Sea of Sand, they're called the Star Run Peaks. They're very, very, very high, you see, and that altitude is very dangerous for the sky ship to try and sail over. The air gets very funny up there, and people get all weird.
Okay, so we're looking at maybe 3 or 4 days to...
Oh, no. Even having to take a roundabout way, we could be there in a day and a half or so.
Okay, well...
From a meta standpoint, it is 576 miles. You'd be traveling an average speed of 16 miles an hour, get you there in about 36 hours.
Cool.
The old Stargazer, she's a mover.
She rips.
She rips. Let's take her for a rip then.
Go for a rip, are you, bud?
All right. Nightingale, you have something you're going to do?
Yeah, so, docks are probably a place that it would be very easy to locate a guild. Thieves guild of some sort, being that, it's the comings and goings of trade and commerce.
Yes.
I will... Besides making sure there's some of his favorite food, birds, pheasants, chickens, that kind of thing on board, I'm going to try to get in touch with a local guild member and see if they are willing to talk about a particular individual who wears, plate armor and a mask and... we've had a run-in with before. In not so many obvious terms, but who I'm looking for.
You make your way around sort of the docks. You definitely see the hidden signs of the particular guild. Thieves Guild that oversees the dock areas.
They probably got like a tavern or something local that they collect in. Type
Yeah,
thing.
it appears. So the group there, um, you're directed to a little tavern called the Seaside. Not such a surprising name based on where you're located.
Yeah. Well, I will enter then the seaside.
All right. It is. It's pretty small. You know, there's probably only room for a couple dozen people in here. There's a half dozen folks sitting around the place, and they all kind of eyeball you as you come in, and then turn back to their business.
I will try to locate, someone who I would be able to assume is in the guild and, approach him in a manner that indicates that I'm looking for information.
Okay. Now, we're going to assume we've talked about this before. You know, although thieves can't is a language.
Yeah.
There would also be, so you can use thieves can't. I believe that Nightingale speaks thieves can't.
Yes.
But you know, I've always said if you speak thieves can't, there's also a
Thieves
way.
can.
There's also a way, you know, just with certain ways you hold your hands, motions you do, that you're asking anyone that may know that language that you're looking for information.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like the way you hold coins in your hands lets them know you're looking to buy information or however
Yes.
that is for that region.
Yeah, and I mean anyone who understands it would pick up on it pretty quickly. You know, you're walking in there all, yo, East Side.
Yeah, exactly. Blood in there
Oh,
somewhere.
he's from the East Side, I believe. The gentleman who is standing at the bar signals back that he would be willing to talk, and he moves over to a table sort of in the far corner of the room.
As Nightingale's kind of approaching this guy, he'll say to the barkeep, "A drink for me and my friend," and he'll walk over and join the guy.
All right. The gentleman takes a seat at the table. Bartender brings over a couple of pints of ale. And he says, so what information you looking for?
It's like, so Nightingale will be like, "Now, this might sound peculiar to you, my friend, but
You're wearing a jester's mag. Nothing's going to be peculiar to me.
that's true. I sometimes forget. I'm in search of an individual that his reputation will probably precede him. Now, I don't have my notes, Colin. I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me.
Onyx?
Onyx. I'll be like, I was tasked with returning some items belonging to Onyx of the Dooms. And unfortunately, the contact I was supposed to meet with to give me his location here ran into a little trouble with law enforcement and is now highly secured in a Vanguard prison. And I will attempt a deception check in regaling this story to try to make it seem, or maybe it's persuasion, whichever. I think persuasion. I'm trying to convince him that this is truth. So I'll do a persuasion check that my story is what it is and that I need to get a few articles of clothing, which I can clearly show the guy because I stole.
Not that I think it's more deception. You're trying to deceive
Deception?
him you're trying to deceive him into believing this story you're telling him, right? Rather than trying to convince him of something.
That's true. That's true. So I'll give you my deception check, which is 28.
Nicely done.
I'm pretty good at lying.
Absolutely. So this gentleman is so I just want to be clear here. Your story is that you have some items of onyx you're trying to return to him.
Yes, I've been tasked to return these to him.
The gentleman, well, look, I'll tell you, I know of this onyx. He runs with the Dooms, and ain't nobody on these docks be able to tell you where onyx is. He runs in circles far above ours. We're just simple folk down here trying to scam a coin or two. You know how it is.
I do indeed. Hard times, hard places make hard people. Well, that is unfortunate for me. This may cost me a limb if I don't figure out a way to get a hold of him. Do you perhaps know someone in the lower ranks of the Dooms I could work my way to the top, so to speak?
Well, for the right coin, I could probably track someone down, but it'll take some time.
Indeed.
Those Dooms, they don't like being found, if you know what I mean.
Well, I will save you some trouble. Let's do it this way. Let's get them looking for me. Perhaps I could, line a good man like yourself's pockets with a few coins, and you could spread the word that Nightingale has... How can I word this to get their attention? Nightingale needs to have a face-to-face with Onyx because I have something of his, which is his pride.
I could probably make that happen, yes. I have a few connections that, for the right coin, could pass a word. Again, it'll take a bit of time, but and I can't make no promises either.
I'm not going to hold you to this, my friend. It's, as we both know when dealing with the Dooms, if you come in on the wrong side of a argument one day, you're dead the next. So do take caution. But how would, let's say, 5 platinum pieces make you brave enough soul to spread that Nightingale has Onyx's pride and needs to meet with him to give it back?
Yes, I could make it happen for that. Although I would prefer 50 gold pieces if you have it. Platinum attracts too much attention around here.
Fair enough. 50 gold. Let's settle at 30 gold pieces and it's a deal.
I was pretty comfortable at 50.
Well, I don't have 50 gold. I got platinum, you fool. You either take it or leave it.
Give me the platinum, then.
I'll give him the 5 platinum pieces. You can walk around being the head guy who buys all the drinks tonight. You'll be a hero.
Man with 5 platinum loses 5 fingers before he knows what hits him.
Well, find a good bank and get her cash down, my friend. But I will check here with you from time to time to see how that's going. Let's just put it that way.
Agreed.
And happy hunting. And I will...
When should I expect you back this way again? Any ideas? Should I just... Are you here on a ship? How will I find you?
If you... I'll find you. I don't know when exactly I'll be back here again, maybe a week or so, but if you could just do your best to get that information to him, I'm sure he could track me down.
All right. The name's, let's say, Wenlow. My name's Wenlow, and I'm often here at the seaside, so, yeah. The next time you're around, stop by. I'll let you know. I'll have to fleece a lot of palms to find a path to Onyx. It's going to take some time.
Well, my friend, there are two ways to get a message to someone. Either the right connections or enough of them that they just can't help but run into the information. You pick whichever one you think you can handle.
That'll do.
I'll drink the drink, pay the barkeep, and leave. And attempt to be stealthy on my way back to the ship so I'm not being followed.
Okay, the 2 ales cost a silver. They're five coppers each, and the seaside sells seawater for ale. It's
Lovely.
pretty ugly.
Seashells. too.
As I down it, walk out with it still in my mouth. As soon as I get out the door, like, ugh. And if you need a stealth check so that I can disappear in the crowd as best I can to not be followed, I can do that for you.
No, Wenlow doesn't leave, and there's lots of activity on the docks with ships being loaded and unloaded and such, merchants and everything going on. It's pretty easy to get lost in a crowd here, even if you weren't trying.
Perfect. And then I'll just make my way back to the ship. I've done what I think I could do for the period we're here. And off we go.
All right.
As long as I've got my pheasants.
Yes, the crew was able to work the dock and found some various
Foul.
fowl for Nightingale, who seems to like the fowl.
Hey, Egan, he's a bird guy.
Got it.
There are, if you go to the bottom of the ship, there are chickens on board the ship itself.
Oh, I made the mistake of naming them.
So now you can't eat them. I named them all, so I just can't now.
After a good night at the captain's tavern, I went down and named them all and befriended a few.
Alrighty then. Any other business that anyone would like to attend to in the city of Alagon before we head out?
If I can, once Landis is on the ship, he'll kind of head to his room, and he's going to use the book Words Yet Spoken to get in contact with his grandfather.
Ooh, nice.
Dial.
Okay.
So he's going to write in there asking Obadiah if he can ask around the school if anyone has ever heard of Xavier Song or Snow Song, particularly the magic items he may have had, any information about the loot, the ring, and what Obadiah knows about harpies. Because I've never faced a harpy, and clearly they're a powerful thing if they can take out a person like that. And also about, what is it, Teresa Frost Dancer?
Yep.
And the magical belt. If they know a location of her fortress or any notes or any acquaintances either of the two may have had, because I'm in search of them and their belongings. Explain to Obadiah that, we think these are things that may help us in our future dealings with the dooms and the impending portal doom that is headed our way. So ask around the school. I'm sure items like that may have piqued somebody's interest, or they might have some knowledge on. So that's what he'll write in the book, and then he'll close it up, and that's all that I had to do.
Okay.
Sending out the feelers.
Sending out the feelers. All right. So yeah, I mean, that's something that Landis can do while the ship is
readying.
Yeah.
And when Nightingale gets back, he'll inform the guys that I put out word trying to draw the Onyx out, piss them off a little.
Let him know you were visiting on his front doorstep.
Yeah, and I have his pride with me.
I have his pride. Does that come on a plaque or?
Yeah, it's deep fried like his face when I heated his armor.
Oh goodness! All right, so guys, I'm gonna take a little break here. We're just about an hour into the session, and I'm gonna for those that are
our studio audience.
Yeah, for our studio audience, I'm gonna stop the feed during the break. I've got to make a few changes. Yeah, adjustments on my end, and then when we're ready to start up again, I will fire the feed back up. So
As us 80s kids know, after these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be right back.
Go live.
We are live. We're back. Okay. Little technical difficulty there, but fired back up here, and we'll carry on. So we Nightingale has tried to get word through the Thieves Guild network to hopefully get back to Onyx of the Dooms. Let him know he has something belonging to him, trying to stir up a little trouble. And you are now all on board the Stargazer as the ship prepares to depart for Vuland. You are on your way to try and find Whale Spell Wren, who was last seen in the Sea of Sand in Vuland.
Okay. While we're off, Kogaan would like to speak with Douglan, if that's doable.
What's on your mind, lad?
Douglan, you are a spiritual man, right? You have powers granted to you by Gath. Yes.
Aye.
How do you make your connection? Do you know?
I just reflexively kind of grabs, like, around here. Well, Kogaan, I'll be honest with you. I'm sort of new to this whole connection with gas, if you will. Sort of had a moment where the connection was made for me, so I don't have a long history to go back on. It just seems that sort of, I guess, through my new faith here, if you will, and some of the miracles that I've seen, including getting my family back, I'm able to channel some of that, sort of meeting my purpose, if you will. But if there were to be a physical representation, then and he has this amulet that he brings out. I guess this would be it. I'm not sure if this this can't be the only way that people can connect, if you will. But yeah, this seems to be where it comes from, if you will.
Okay. I remember not too long ago, Hanuziak, the ancient gold dragon who sleeps in the mountains near my village, it contacted me in a dream. Remember, it spoke to me directly. It wasn't just a vision this time. And I was thinking of trying to ask Hanu if it had maybe an understanding of the dream we all shared. Hanuziak means, in common tongue, dream spirit guide. And I just thought maybe since it was able to come to me in my dreams, that maybe it would, yes, be able to help us. But I do not know how to reach out to Hanuziak, so that's why I was asking how maybe you have your connection. But I don't have anything from Hanu, so I will maybe try tonight somehow to direct my thoughts towards Hanuziak, but I do not know if this will come true.
Well, if I may, Kogaan, I'm not quite sure it's the amulet, more the heart. That seems to be where I'm getting, well, let's just say where Kath is giving me what I need, because it's coming from the heart. That's how it started. The great loss that I felt, and all the things that have happened since. So perhaps it's not so much a physical manifestation, but rather heart or spirit, as you say. Perhaps tap into that, and perhaps there will be a connection, and from there maybe a physical representation if your dragon decides it.
Yes, we will see. I will try, but I just thought if we're looking for answers, more answers for this dream, what happened, that Hanu would be a magnificent resource. So,
Could not agree more, Kogaan. I firmly believe we need all the help we can get. I mean, if that dream that we all had is any indication, we are severely outmanned and outmatched.
I will wait till late tonight when I think the connection is likely to be strongest, based on my experiences so far. But
do your people have any type of worship?
yes, well, my Yado Balan, my quest of worth, is a form of worship that the village shares for the Yuvan Dov Z, which is the gold dragon spirit, the egg, if you will, that we watch over in our village. It is a part of our history. Hanuziak gave us that to protect until it is born, hatches. And then when it does, it will choose the Dovakir Dainmar, which is a wormling guardian, which is what I'm doing all of this for, the greatest honor that my people possess. So, yes, I guess that, I mean, there we do have clerics and people like yourself, paladins, who worship the gods as well, but always there is the connection to Hanuziak and our ancient dragon ancestors. It is a part of it.
So keep asking the questions, lad.
I will.
Sooner. You may find the answers, you may not, but don't stop asking.
Thank you for your wisdom.
Of course.
And I'll go back about my daily ship business, maybe go help out in the kitchen for a little while and stuff like that.
Well,
When you're done
if I
cooking-
recall, between cooking and trying to take time at the helm, Kogaan
Yeah, that's right.
enjoys
He likes to
when
fly.
the ship is flying.
Doug-
He
Douglan, no.
loves the airship.
Douglan, as he's leaving, though, don't forget we've got a spar later.
Of course.
All right? You can't get lazy on me, lad.
Never.
Okay, the Stargazer made its way out well into the Bay of Dreams, where it then picked itself up out of the water. and started to head. So initially you're going to go overland until you get back to water, and then the captain's plan is to basically fly down the coastline, so you'll be flying along easterly.
That southern stretch kind of.
Yep, heading south all the time along Easterly and Blackmere's coasts. You'll come around the southern end of Blackmere, which will then take you into the Sea of Sand area and into Vuland.
It's travel before the Panama Canal.
Yes. It'll be about... so you guys left... We're going to say you left noonish.
Makes sense.
And you will get in about... it'll be... see, that would be...
6 in the morning, 2 days.
It'd be midnight, basically, when you're going to arrive in at Zooland. And the captain says he's just going to kind of wait until sunrise before he takes the ship into Vuland. So you'll be on board the ship for a day and a half of travel, actually a little more than that. So you all go about your shiply duties. You've all sort of taking on helping little bits with the crew, like Kogaan helps with in the kitchen. You all spend time helping out a little bit, helps pass the time and such while you're traveling. After your first day or so, you all head off to bed, and it is an uneventful night. It would appear, as nobody is pulled into the dream again. Couple of nights now you have been clear of that. As you awake in the morning, Landis, as you wake up, you notice that words yet spoken is open, which usually means you have received a message.
Got a text message.
You got
literally a text message. Awesome. Yeah. That is awesome.
You go over expecting to see a message from Obadiah, but to your surprise, you find a message from Lafferty. Lafferty, would you like to read the message for us?
My dear Landis, I will apologize for my intrusion into your wondrous book, but there is no other way to communicate with you at this time. You see, my dear friend, while at the Infinite Archives, I discovered more than just the whereabouts of Emanar's magical items. Much, much more. I've recounted the story of Enibus to you and his disappearance. I have believed for some time that he was not lost, rather someplace else, if you will. And with my findings in Alagon, my theory was confirmed, or at least it is possible he is still alive. I regret not having informed you before, but as you know, I have a single-mindedness that at times can lead me astray, this time to another realm entirely. It has been 4 weeks since our return from the Infinite Archives for me, but based on my calculations, it is just the next day for you. I fear these communications will be erratic as time runs different here and not linear to our world. My apologies again as I ramble on regarding the how, but not the why for my departure. A storm is coming, of that we are all certain. But what that is, we can only guess. I feel strongly that finding Enibus is of the utmost importance, and he is somehow connected to all of this. When I discovered the means to enter the world I believe he exists, I had to take that chance. I regret not telling you all in person, but time, as it were, is not on my side. This is also a journey that I can only make alone, as I would not subject any of you to what was needed to cross over. I almost did not make it myself. I did have time to make a few potions for Douglan. The old man has a tendency to put himself in harm's way no matter the cost to himself. Hopefully he will not be too stubborn and allow the valiant Kogaan to help. But you know how he gets, like a mother hen with us all. For Nightingale, help him on his path. He seems reluctant to believe in himself, even though we all see his tremendous potential. And for you, my friend, continue your journey and search for knowledge. It will be the difference between failure and success. This is not goodbye. We shall meet again, of that I am certain. Where and when that might be, only the three know. Sincerely, Quien Laffertien Sil John Sevar.
Call that the wake up, shake up.
Yeah. Rubs his eyes to double check he's reading
Wait.
this exactly.
Okay, sorry. I don't know this yet, but I'm like, so Landis isn't on the ship anymore? What's going on?
No, Landis is. Lafferty.
Sorry, yeah, Lafferty?
Lafferty hit the sauce hard, man.
You go to his room, and all you see are 4 healing potions.
Well, if I recall,
Yeah, let me-
Lafferty roomed with Landis. So Landis, you didn't hear anything during the night.
Yeah.
But basically beside the book are just the potion bottles. Everything else of Lafferty's in the room is gone. Lafferty
And if
is...
you guys think back, like since the library, he has not looked up from a book of some kind.
That's
While
right.
you guys
Yeah,
were
he's
walking,
been going nuts. Yeah.
You basically just had to but Landis had to kind of push him along. He was in his notes. He did a lot more research than just the magical items at the library, at the Infinite Archives.
Well,
Sneaky devils.
as quickly as he can, Landis makes his quill appear and he writes a quick message in hopes it can get to Lafferty, stating, Lafferty, my friend, I trust you are doing this for all the right reasons. We are always here if you need us. I hope we meet again soon. Be careful. And come back to us. And then he'll close the book and inform the others. I'm not sure how the bugger did it, but he managed to go in the middle of the night.
I am astounded.
Douglan is seething. What?
Douglan, we must trust in Lafferty. He's an intelligent being.
I do not
I'm
understand.
sure he's making the choices he feels are necessary.
We did not stop the ship at night.
No, we did not.
So how he disappeared? I don't understand.
My assumption, Kogaan, is it's a magical disappearance.
I did not know he possessed such abilities.
I did not know he possessed such abilities either. But in the short while I have got to know Lafferty, he never ceases to stop amazing me with what that man can come up with.
Well, I know he's been talking about that Anubis character. I think it was, he went on
His
about...
mentor.
Yeah,
I
it was,
believe.
well, I don't know if it was his mentor. It was sort of like his star worship. Like he was the pinnacle of alchemists of some kind, and he discovered some weird... He went, I could not keep up with the lad, you know? Crazy
If
coot.
I am to be candid with you all, for some time I've been concerned about Lafferty and his obsession, or perhaps I should say interest bordering on obsession with the void water and the effects it was having on him. I fear curiosity may have gotten the best of our friend, and he's gone to pursue things that perhaps could endanger him, but I trust in his. Well, I just trust him. He's a good man, and I believe that will prevail in this circumstance, and hopefully he doesn't get himself in trouble, and if he does, how we will get to him, I will have to figure out, I guess.
Or these dark wanderings will corrupt him.
Well, let's not go there quite yet. I hope he's a lot stronger than physically he seems.
No good, High Elf. Leaving without saying goodbye. Douglan's really pissed.
Oh well, we will.
He doesn't like losing people.
Just have to adapt, I suppose.
There's absolutely nothing we can do right now, guys. So it's mission as planned, I would assume.
We will carry on.
If he
Landis,
disappeared from the ship, I'm sure he could reappear.
Landis, what do you think he means by 4 weeks? We just saw him yesterday.
Well, if you think back, Douglan, to when we disappeared in the void the first time, it was 4 months for people on the outside, and for us it was seconds. So clearly there's a time variance between where he is and where we are.
I hope he knows what the hell he's doing.
Yes, we are all concerned for him.
Well,
We must trust that he's making the decisions he feels are the best, whether they're crazy or not.
Well, they're crazy, all right. Stupid elf.
And he did leave these for you, and Landis will hand over the potions.
He grabs them. Kogaan, I need to hit something.
I have a shield.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. All right.
Kogaan, I have a
Work
shield. I'm not volunteering.
How would I put this up here and you look at it?
All right.
There's no fun if it's not moving.
So, from a meta standpoint, gentlemen, Lafferty has, for now, left the game. And going forward, for now, Egan will just continue to play Douglan.
Piloting one character.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a cool letter
Yeah.
on your cell tome.
My cell
On
tone.
the cell tone.
Exactly. I sent you a
That's
text.
brilliant.
You know,
I like that, Max. The cell
Text
tone.
message on your cell tome.
you know, once we put it on the notes, we could add emojis because he definitely added some emojis here.
Yeah.
There was one of
A
these.
black liquid drop.
You could probably activate some real gifs going, actually.
Oh, for sure.
What? How did you get hearts to come up on your screen?
Oh, it's on the thing.
Yeah.
That's just all kinds of little things you can do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It created hearts. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm like, you just lost a lot of street cred right there for being a badass, man.
Or do you have to click something?
Dude, I didn't even know how I did that.
Okay,
That's
well,
a
we're
Derailed. Okay,
we're just
thank you.
gonna move
You
on.
just derailed us completely.
Magic.
Your heart.
Web magic.
Yeah, clearly, Egan has magic he has not shared with us. It wasn't just Lafferty.
By the
Clearly,
way,
it's not the first thing he's keeping secrets on.
This is how I communicate with Gath.
Alrighty then. So you obviously you go through the next day, and
If I could interrupt you for one moment, Colin.
absolutely.
During the day, at some point after Douglan has beat the frustrations out of Kogan's shield, Nightingale will approach Kogan, and he'd be like, "My friend, I have a favor to ask you. Now, I appreciate everything that Cookie does for us,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm from Easterly. The people in the protected lands are fearful of spice. I
Mm,
noticed you had a spice pouch on you,
yes.
and I have managed to procure myself some pheasants and a few other winged creatures, and I was hoping you would grace me with your prowess of spice and make me feel a bit like I'm at home.
I would love to. Perhaps you could accompany me and share in detail how you would like it prepared so that I could replicate it as
I'll
accurately.
do what I can, for sure. Some of my favorite stuff was grilled with
Mhm.
this. I can't. I wouldn't know how to.
If you can describe the spice, maybe I've heard of it, and I can pull it from my pouch. It is magical.
So you got access to allspice there?
Hmm.
Well,
They call
okay.
this recipe KFC. I believe the spice was a secret.
An old man had it. But yeah, Nightingale will disappear into the kitchen with Kogan to
Okay. While
try
that's
to.
happening, Kogan does have some questions for Nightingale.
Hmm, Saki it
Uh,
to me.
Nightingale, I'm curious. When we were in Aragon, when we visited the Bard College,
Hmm.
that is everyone who attends, do they all turn into the bird agents?
No, no. So the Penumbra College teaches bards in general,
Okay.
but us bird folk are specially chosen for specific talents.
Interesting. I ask because I have two sisters. One is named Felseal, which means wild heart, and she has a very interesting and unique talent among magic users in our village. Uh, she, wizards will use words and materials, and clerics have faith, and bards sing, but she uses
Hmm.
she dances, and it,
Hmm.
it seems very how would you say uh natural, like she never learned it from someone, and it is very interesting, and I think she would very much like this college, and I would like to recommend it to her someday, but I do not want her to become a bird agent. um
It is a choice,
right.
Kogan.
And I don't think she'd maybe be very good because she looks very conspicuous, you say. She is a gold dragon.
Yeah, no amount of makeup I think will
Mm.
hide your distinct look
Yes.
you Dragonborn have. Yeah. Yeah, Kogan, if you would like, I would be more than willing to vouch for
Sure.
her to be entered, at least have a tryout for the college.
If that time comes, I will recommend it to her, and
I can
she can
honestly
make a decision.
say I've never heard of dance magic.
Hmm.
The
Do you
college would probably be very interested. Perhaps she could eventually one day teach.
maybe I think it would be good for her to learn more about the source of her abilities and just feel, grow, a form of growth, and help each other, and with those at the college, of course. Yes, that's it.
This whole time, Nightingale's trying to remain engaged while keeping Kogan working on spicing the bird properly.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, she dances. Yeah, okay, this spice too. And he's tasting it like,
Oh,
almost there,
sorry, we're
buddy,
very hungry
almost
again.
there.
I'll continue growing. All right. Those are my questions. There's my
Excellent.
RP.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Nice.
All right. Any other interactions our party would like with each other or the crew as you are sailing south down towards the end of Blackmire?
I have a
It's
bit
a
of an
full.
above board question. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead, Max.
Um, Has sorry, I can't remember. Douglan met Ren before?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, like you guys have had interactions before. It hasn't just
Yeah.
been Nightingale alone kind of thing.
No, so just to give you a brief kind of backstory to Ren, I was, being a penumbra bard, she was the contact I went to while we were in Wellspell.
Okay.
Because we were trying to do some stuff and we had heard some stuff and this. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll go see what the contact knows. And she kind of gave us the hint onto these girls with these gems. And so we've had interactions with her. We understand, like, so her alias is a Landis Moonwatcher, and she played at a local tavern in Whalespell in a band called the Willowwinds. And so, like, when we go to Whalespell, or when I checked in on her, I used to go to the bar and ask for a Landis Moonwatcher. I don't call her Ren. She's a Ren. Ren is a female spy sent to particular cities to watch. So that's just her penumbra
Code.
kind of her designation.
Yeah.
In the penumbras, but her alias is Alanis Moonwatcher. So I would have been, where's Alanis? Trying to get a hold of her. So
okay,
just curious. So yeah, Douglan's met her, and we are familiar with her enough to know her.
Cool. I just couldn't remember the whole little backstory with it.
Yeah,
it was in the first episodes.
We had another guy with us. He was a ranger, but they don't last.
I remember that.
No.
Don't become a ranger.
Right.
He's got a torture kink.
Okay.
All right, we'll move on. And so you all sit down that evening for a fabulously prepared meal by Kogaan. Something that Nightingale raves about for the evening.
They call it fire chicken where I'm from.
He basically
dragon
hot
sleeping
wings.
in Phoenix Nest. Douglan, be careful. It'll burn the holes off you.
Is this taking you back, Nightingale?
Douglan, you have no idea.
So the stargazer through the night circles underneath Blackmire, heading towards the Sea of Sand and Vuland. They slow the ship down so that they can time the arrival into Vuland for early morning.
Kind of the morning tide that comes in.
Coming into Vuland in the middle of the night is not going to really give you the ability to interact with anyone of worth. So the captain figures best to come in at first light. He does, as he has done with other locations, brings the ship down into the water so it doesn't attract quite as much attention. You're all up now, finished your breakfast, knowing that you will be arriving in Vuland early morning. You see the small town ahead. Interestingly, Vuland is built right into the cliff side as you approach. So if you can sort of envision from the water level moving up across the cliff sides, they've all been turned into the town of Vuland, and the homes are actually built into the stone. During your trip down, the captain talks about this because he has been to Vuland before, and the reason for this is timber is very precious in the Sea of Sand. So all of its inhabitants tend to use the terrain to build their structures as much as possible to minimize the amount of timbers that are required to build anything.
So there's like stairs carved in the side of the cliff and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Everything is carved right into the stone. You see sort of a building front, windows, doors, and things like that. But the building itself goes back into the stone of the hillside. Vulan, to give from a meta standpoint, to give you an idea, it only has a permanent population of about 1,000 inhabitants.
Makes sense.
But it is a very popular point of trade. All the nomads, the tiefling nomads from the Sea of Sand, come here to trade goods and then go back to wherever they are. All of this information coming from the captain as you were sailing in, and now the ship comes up. Nowhere for the Stargazer to actually dock here, so the crew pulls out the small ship that they carry, and you all pile aboard and row yourselves into
Colin?
Vulan. Yes.
On our way into the port of Vuland, Nightingale will transform himself into Corey Fairbanks.
Excellent. Corey?
Glad to be here. Douglan, do you want to maybe Jasper Pennies just for the hell of it?
You get such a dirty look. Now's not the time, Nightingale. Or Corey.
Landis,
Yes.
do you have any magics that could shelter us if we encounter a storm on our journeys?
I do. Do you think I should prepare that today?
I think, I do not know what is the nature of our journey. If we are required to go into the desert, though, I think it would be very important.
I will make sure I have something on the ready, Kogaan. I appreciate your heads up.
Mm-hmm.
As we have been notified, storms are something that can pop up, so I will have something on the ready.
You hear Douglan mumble. Lafferty probably had something.
I will not disagree, Douglan. I would have preferred to have a sending stone in order to contact Murfitz if we needed him or not, but we will do without.
Yep. And it's not a criticism of anyone. He's pissed. He's mad at him.
We get it. Grumpy old man.
As you arrive at the docks, the crew member that came back or came here with you, he starts rowing the little ship back. Says if you guys just come out to the docks and signal them, they will send the ship back to pick you up whenever you feel like you're ready to go back to the Stargazer. As part of your conversation while you were sailing here, Captain Murfitz said they will just stay in the harbor here at Vuland until such a time as you return.
Landis will tell Captain Murfitz that if we need to venture inland, we will leave some type of correspondence for you guys to be picked up from the port. Like, just have someone check every day if there's a correspondence.
There's probably someone send messages way, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You could get a messenger to deliver a message to the ship.
As we're rowing towards the shore, Douglan, though, is going to ask some questions. Kogaan, what do you have in the means of getting yourself back on your feet, should you take some hits? What do you got?
I too have some potions. Let's see. I have 2 potions of healing.
All right. And that's if you're conscious, you can take those, right?
Yes.
Landis, what about you? What do you got?
I have a Corey Fairbanks.
Nightingale, do you still have that healing beating stick?
Now, you lassies, don't worry. You hit the ground, old Corey will bang you with my stick and get you back up.
And is that something I don't recall, lad. Do you need to be touching someone with it? I know you've hit me over the head with it a few times, but
I need to touch you with the stick.
all
So
right.
before we disembark, are we taking it that Nightingale has Corey Fairbanks all up and everything? Is that
He
that's
has
betcha.
Corey
going on here?
Fairbanks up. Yes.
Assuming that identity.
Corey Fairbanks is his. Basically, Corey Fairbanks is a hired gun for travelers.
Cool.
Think
You know.
Nathan Lane from the Birdcage doing an impression of John Wayne.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Here's the toast.
Well, I think you all understand where I'm going with it, don't you?
We'll be all right.
I'm just saying Lafferty was the only one that could get us back on our feet without having to get near us. So keep that in mind.
We will have to adapt new tactics.
Yeah, I have a few to get people back up, but again, I got to touch. So again, let's keep that in mind.
We'll just all make sure we stay close.
Yes, perhaps Douglan, you and I will maintain close quarters while we engage, like to each other. We can help each other out, and then Landis could stay not too far behind us and use his magics effectively. And I believe Nightingale will do whatever he wishes anyways. Sorry, Corey Fairbanks.
I appreciate that, Kogaan. You have hit the proverbial nail on the head with that.
But would be wise to maybe maintain the mid ground between
Kogaan, if
Landis
there's
and myself.
anything I learned from that last dream, is keep my friends close and my enemies
Far away.
in between you and I.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Very good. Okay. Very good. I think we will be fine.
Very smart. Landis, do you have any potions, lad?
I believe I do. Let me check. Searching through this massive inventory. I do not. No.
All right, that no good elf left me at least 4 of these. So here, take a couple, and I'll give you 2 potions of healing.
I now have 2 in my
So
inventory.
Egan, you should be able to just drag those right onto his sheet, and he'll.
I just updated my own sheet. I just put
I just
That works too.
changed them physically. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I actually have 4.
I just leave it in my inventory. It's either got a number or it's 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. That's perfect.
All right, Douglan feels a little bit better and broads on the way to
I was
the.
gonna say,
To the
still,
dock.
still brooding a little bit about Lafferty's
I appreciate your
disappearance.
tactical appreciation of our current situation, Douglan.
Well,
But we do have a Kogaan.
we sure do.
All right, Corey, should we try to find your friend? What's her name again?
Alanis.
Set.
Alanis.
Yeah, I reckon we maybe hit the local tavern from this port. It'd probably be the first place she went to with those tiefling gals. You know, everybody likes a drink after a long boat ride.
Okay, just
What's her name again? Sorry. She a half
just
elf?
Alanis.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, Colin. What is what's her
Alanis
race?
is a human.
She's a human. Okay, sorry.
So I'm just going to remind the characters that in your conversation with Thrush, he told you that she was staying at the Sand Whisper
Oh yeah, that's right.
Inn.
Hang on, this just in. We should check the Sand Whisperer. That is her
just
last
in.
note. This just in from the DM.
The gods were talking to me.
Somebody just whispered in my ear.
That's right. And he also said that we would get a favor for a favor, basically.
Indeed, the penumbra. if you return, hopefully with Alanis, or at least knowledge of what's become of her,
Parts of her.
the Penumber College will owe you a favor.
Ooh.
All right,
And
you
do
are
we know
standing
that?
up. Sorry?
I'm sorry. Do we know that, Barry?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
you were
what?
all there during that
You were all there.
conversation. Yep.
I said you were good peeps.
Yeah.
When he was gonna relay what was going down.
Didn't even have to become a eunuch.
Thrush has an understanding from its time talking with Nightingale that this group is tied to each other pretty closely, and there's really no point in trying to deal with Nightingale by himself, because you're all pretty much tied together right now. So that's why he brought you all in to have the conversation.
Yeah. Thrush knows Nightingale from before, where he understands that for Nightingale, friends are everything. So we will head to the Sand Whisperer.
It's the Sand Whisper.
Oh, sorry, Whisper.
The Sand Whisper in the Sand Whisperer. Okay, you arrive on the docks. It doesn't take too many questions to get you pointed in the right direction for the Sand Whisper Inn. You arrive at the doors. It is not a very big establishment, but from your conversations in finding directions, you definitely get the vibe from the people that you were talking to that it is considered, the nicest inn in Vuland. So you arrive at the doors. Again, like all the other buildings, it is built right into the cliffside. You can see the window, cut in the stone above, presumably for the rooms. And the front doors are open. There's a young child who is a young boy who's sweeping the front entrance as you approach the inn.
Would I be able to make, let's say, a history check to possibly know like a local greeting or something along those lines? I don't know what other skill would be.
Well, none of you have really spent any
that's true,
time down here. Like, the Sea of Sand is kind of an anomaly in the world. There's very few people that spend time here. As the captain told you in some of your discussions while you were sailing down here, the land is populated primarily by tieflings who kind of consider it their homeland. The only other people that tend to come to the Sea of Sand are merchants. What the Sea of Sand is known for is the production of glass. They make a lot of glass here, which merchants come and buy and take back to their various parts of the world. And the area is very rich in diamonds. That's what the nomads do, is they mine diamonds a lot inland.
Corey will look to Douglan. Well, I should have maybe put on Barathus's outfit, and me and Penniless could have made a good impression on these people.
Well, I'm sure you'll find a way.
So as we approach, you said there's a boy sweeping.
Yep, there's a young tiefling boy who is sweeping outside of the inn.
Greetings, spawn of Satan.
Do we
That will do
see anything, any other races has Kogan's presence?
Isn't that
Turn
not
head.
proper? Sorry. Greetings, spawn of Lord of Darkness.
I mean, everywhere that you go, Kogaan attracts attention, right? But, I mean,
Yeah.
often that attention is only split between a polished paladin, a jester, and a baby dragon. You know, like, you guys are an interesting group when you walk around.
Well, I blend in at this moment in time. Me and Landis are like the oddballs of this group.
And I'd like to point out, although he tries, Douglan is anything but polished.
Yeah, true.
Hey, I remember the dad bod dude I first met. You've come
Yeah,
a long way.
he's come a
He's
long
working
way.
on it. He's working on it, but yeah,
Like, I remember you throwing javelins was pathetic.
they were like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's-
During the one downtime, Douglan spent a lot of time getting himself back into shape with the Vanguard.
I mean, adventuring life will just do that for you.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we will enter this establishment.
All right, the boy steps aside. And, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
What's your name?
My name is Kazir.
Kazir. Kazir, you seem like a pretty observant boy. You can see the comings and goings in this place?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever see a pretty human girl escorted by two tiefling ladies?
You said, she was human?
Yeah, pretty girl.
Human,
Voice like an angel.
humans come here all the time, sir. This is where they like to stay when they're in our town.
Fair enough.
Maybe speak with the innkeeper, Corey.
Well, since you tried to help me, I'll flip him a copper piece.
Thank you, sir. If you're looking for someone in particular, maybe you could talk to my mama. She's just inside. She'll be at the bar. Her name is Rohirri.
Rohirri. Well, thank you, Kazir. You better get back to sleep, and your mom will be paddling your ass later.
Yes, sir.
horns?
Yes, sir.
Your horns are coming in very nicely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
As we're walking in, like, I didn't want to mention it. I wasn't sure if it was something contagious.
Well, as someone who has horns, it's always nice to get complimented on your horns.
Well, your horns are coming in nice too there, Smoke Puff.
Thank you.
I thought you were just happy to see me.
Okay,
I
we'll
think you're
enter.
confused about Dragon and everything.
You enter the inn. It is a one big common area down here that serves as the kitchen, the bar, the check-in. With tables kind of spread around, and the tables go out onto a little patio area. And you see a woman who is working on some sort of cooking over a fire just on the other side from the bar area, who you assume might be Rohirri.
You said her name, and I put an R and like a squiggle. I'm like, I have no idea how to spell Rohirri.
Rohiri. Rohirri.
That might be
Okay.
the first time I got a name right. The first time.
Nicely
well
done. Well, Douglan, I'll expect you to spell everything to me.
Oh no. The sun
Well,
shines.
we
on
will
everything
approach
last once in a while.
Rohirri, and Corey will clear his throat to try to get her attention.
She stops stirring the big pot. Definitely from the aroma wafting off Kogaan. It's some sort of seafood chowder she is preparing. She comes over to the bar and says, well, good morning, gentlemen, and what might I do for all of you?
Beg your pardon, madam, but my friends and I would like to seek accommodation for the evening.
It's pretty early. I won't be able to check you in quite yet. But how many rooms would you be looking for?
One room with lots of blankets, and we will all nest together.
Oh,
Yeah. What he
Or
say?
2 or 3 rooms, whatever.
I do have a room that will comfortably accommodate the 4 of you. But again, all of our rooms are currently full. But I could, if for payment up front, ensure that I hold the room for you for tonight.
Well, madam, you must forgive me. I never caught your name.
My name is Rohiri.
Rohiri. Well,
How do you spell that, lass?
Oh my god. Come on, guys.
I'm just kidding.
It's
um,
it's spelled
Rohiri-
with a 4 Q's and a silent R.
well. I tell you, I'm not from these lands, and I never would have guessed the silent R. But you know what? Since we are a bit early for a room, perhaps in the spirit of friendship, I could inquire about a friend of mine that may have stayed here. You may have recognized her. And he will describe Alanis to her. And she may have been escorted with a couple of tiefling ladies. Maybe a week or so ago.
Do we know about when, by the way? Would we be able to kind of...
According to
keep that
Thrush,
together?
she's been missing for a couple of weeks. So she would have been here a couple of weeks ago. Or last
Okay,
year.
Yeah.
And according to Thrush, she had been staying at the inn for some time while she was doing
I
her
will relay all
investigation.
of that to Rohiri.
With a Q.
4 keys.
There was a young lass, a human girl, Alanis, I believe her name was.
That would be her, yes.
Now, I myself didn't talk to her very much, a little bit here and there, but she was quite friends with the owner of the inn, Athena. Athena should be here shortly, and Athena and Alanis spent quite a few evenings talking and drinking together. I do believe she would have more information for you.
Well, Rohiri, that has been more than helpful. Perhaps you would let Athena know that Corey Fairbanks would like to have a word with her.
I will indeed. I assume you will be back then at some point today.
Well, I think, gentlemen, would we still like to procure a room for the evening? If it would become available?
How much to secure a room?
I would need you to pay up front. It's 2 gold pieces for the night.
Here is 10 gold.
Oh my! You'll be staying for 5 days then?
Maybe, I do not know, but my coin purse is getting so full it's almost overflowing. So here you go. You're very nice. I see where your son gets his horns from. And I would also take have some of this seafood chowder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, someone get this boy something to eat. He's been staring and drooling over that thing.
I am sorry. I just started putting this together for lunchtime, but certainly come back, and with I will make sure that you have all of the seafood chowder you would like.
Excellent. And I did give her 10 gold. I took it out of my treasury.
Okay. She will reserve the room for 5 nights for you folks.
Cool.
Kogaan, come here, lad.
Yes, Douglan.
Just as a rule of thumb, when you're out and about, don't announce to the entire tavern that your purse is too full, that you don't know what to do with it. It just might give us a little undue attention, if you know what I'm saying.
I suppose, but everyone here seems very friendly. You know, it's like a quiet seaside town.
Right. And
Dear God,
just
we've
like
got
the
Boy
Black
Meets
Dragon.
World here.
And
Yeah.
they've got horns, and I've never met a person with horns that I
Oh, do you
found
remember
good
your
enough.
assumptions that you made about the Black Dragon that we faced, lad?
Well, no, I was prepared for the dragon to be bad, but I, you know,
Not at first, lad.
I
We
just
wanted to
didn't
go
think it
have a
would be
chat.
unreasonable.
Okay.
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Just looking out for you, boy.
But it is only coins. I mean,
Yeah.
we have so many of them and we never use them. So I
I
thought,
don't
hey,
care that you
someone
gave
wants the coins. Here you go, have a lot.
Are you lacking coins?
Douglan just face palms. Oy.
All right.
Let's explore, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you head into Vulan.
I would like to go to, if there's like an outfitters type place. There must be, if this is like a town that's kind of like a front for people who go out and mine and do things like in the desert, there must be like an outfitter for that sort of stuff. And I'd be curious to see like what kind of advice they have and any sort of special materials or anything like that that we might need.
There's got to be a
Appropriate
gap
clothing.
for
Yeah,
an
just to
H&M.
inquire. We don't know what the nature of our mission is yet, but just if we're waiting anyways, it'd be nice to get a heads up on what the region has in store for us.
Now you're thinking, boy.
So as you familiarize yourselves with Vuland, there is an outfitter in town. It is called the Grit. It is actually the only outfitter in Vuland because you soon come to realize a lot of the transactions between the nomads and the merchants happen right on the docks. So the merchants come in looking for glass and diamonds. The nomads are looking for various items, and it's almost pre-agreed to, you're going to bring in a shipment of pickaxes, and I'm going to bring you this amount of glass or diamonds. So a lot of the transactions happen down on the docks. But there is an outfitter in town called the Grit.
The Grit. Cool. Let's go to the Grit. Any objections?
No, I think that's a brilliant idea.
All right.
Sweet, we will
You
grid it up.
you arrive. It's right down at the dock level. So once you're down on the docks, asking around, you are directed to, it's got wares outside. It's pretty easy to see. As you get closer, there's a sign above the door that does say, "Indeed, the Grit."
Nice.
Is it all manner of things, like from armor to weapons to ropes to tents to bedrolls, stuff like that?
Yes. So as you enter the Grit, it doesn't carry weapon or armor. Okay, no weapons, no armor. But it is sort of all matter. It's almost like an outfitter for those that would want to head into the desert that may not be properly equipped to do so. That is what its owner is, a Karzir.
Karzir.
And Karzir is an elderly male tiefling who, as you approach, he's standing outside kind of watching the comings and goings on the docks that morning, smoking on a very ornate-looking wooden pipe. Sees the four of you approaching and kind of takes the pipe out and... So, what is it you're all looking for?
Paz Shulgrind. Nice to meet you. Excellent horns you have. We are anticipating perhaps having a little travel into the desert. And we've never been here before. So we are curious what we might expect and what supplies we might need.
Takes a long draw off the pipe and... Never been into the Sea of Sand then before, I'm guessing.
That is correct.
Very interesting place it is.
Mm-hmm.
The main things you'll need if you're going is rations and water skins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A good pair of goggles will help you out.
Ooh, goggles, of course.
And, depending on your clothing, you might want a set of desert clothes. Never been into the Sea of Sand. Interesting little tidbit you might be wanting to know.
Mm-hmm.
During the days, it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. During the night, it's cold. Cold, cold, cold.
We also heard that there are random sandstorms that mostly come at night.
Every night there's a sandstorm. You never know how bad it's going to be, but every night there's a sandstorm. Then during the days, they just come out of nowhere. You gotta be ready for them all the time.
How do people handle the sandstorms?
Well, you hide.
In the desert?
Most of the Sea of Sand is sort of a combination of rocks and sand. So you most always can find some shelter against the wind. It's only when you get way into the heart of the beast that she becomes sand and only sand. That's the dangerous part.
Okay, thank you very much.
Would you like to buy some of that stuff we talked about now?
Probably. We just need to find out what the next few days will be like for us here, and before we commit to purchasing anything.
That seems
But here's
fair.
a gold piece for your information. And I'll flick him a gold piece.
He kind of, gives it one of these, like, gold piece for my information? Fantastic. Puts it in his...
Corsair.
He's like, something new I can sell.
If I may,
Well,
Corsair, for that gold piece, could we get a little bit more information?
If I've got it, I'll give it to you.
What sort of beast of burdens do well in the sands?
Ooh, good question.
Tieflings.
No monsters or creatures?
There's
Are
no
there
animals
tieflings?
do well in the Sea of Sand. Too hot, too cold.
Nothing that hides under the sand.
Oh, there's all kinds of terrible things out there, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, no beast of burden.
So,
You
Are
get
you-
yourself tiefling guides if you need to go into the desert.
Ooh,
that was my
guides.
next question. If there's
Where would someone
guide
find the best guides?
They're about in town. Try the pubs the taverns and the inns and
Okay.
and such. They come and go with regular. None of them call this place home. You see, they make their money being out there, and there's various places and they go to. But if you ask around, you'll always find what you need. They're here poking about.
Okay, well, we have a room at the Whisper Inn, so
Oh, fine place. Best in
I'm
town.
sure we'll find good guides there, perhaps.
Corey
You
will-
talk to Athena. She knows the best guides in town. You need information, you talk to Athena. She runs a good establishment. She's a good woman. She's not a tiefling, but she's a good woman. And you ask her, she'll have what you need.
Okay.
Corey will approach Tarzan, is it?
Tarzan?
Karzier.
Oh,
Karzier.
Karzier.
Sorry,
yes.
I heard courtyard.
Now, my apologies, Karzir, but I'm unfamiliar with the goings and comings of your people, tieflings. Now, I met a few tieflings in my journeys in the protected lands, if you can imagine it, and their last name was Zandani. Now, is that like a tribal name or just a particular family name? Would it be something I could track them two gals down with?
Well, most certainly you could. I believe that lot. They're nomadic. They come here from time to time, but I haven't heard them. I haven't heard that name in a while, but yeah, nomadic bunch. Diamond miners, I believe.
Now, now again, not being accustomed to how things operate around here, are diamond mines something that are protected, or are they just commonly known about and people just work them together?
The tribes, the clans, whatever word, their families is what they call themselves, but they have their spots. They find their diamond mines. They mine them until there's nothing left, and then they go find more. Yeah, that's all I can tell you. They just, they don't spend a lot of time. The Sea of Sand, she's a very weird creature. These diamond clumps that they find, they don't go deep and they don't go far, but they're usually fairly rich for the folks that find them.
I would assume with all the storms, you kind of get in and get out while you can before it's covered up with sand.
Yeah, and when one goes missing, another one shows up. They go looking for them.
Now, is there a way to identify one family from the next? Do they wear a particular item of clothing or have a particular set of gorgeous horns?
No.
And Corey looks over at Kogaan and like winks. Yeah, as he mentioned the horns.
You're getting it.
You gotta talk to the people to find out who they are. They blend in by nature of protecting themselves. Nobody wants to stand out as being, the best bunch of diamond finders or such.
Fair enough. Well, you are a man that is worth coming to, and Kogaan paid you generously. Thank you so much.
Oh, anytime. And if you need any of those things we talked about, you make sure you come back.
Indeed. Gentlemen?
Is perhaps there Mr. Karzir, is there like a weaponsmith or any type of blacksmith in town?
There unfortunately there isn't. Weapons are bought and sold on the docks, but people fix their own stuff out here.
All right.
Well, we could go check on the docks. Maybe there's someone. Something.
No, I've got about 37 more questions for Kazir. It seems to be really working magic on the DM's throat, so we'll keep him going.
Yeah, they're catching me pretty good.
Could you please go into the history of the city and back to its originations?
We'll head off.
Yeah,
Of course. Just give me a second. Well, you see.
it's Corey.
Yeah, we'll head out. So? Are the docks actually a fairly busy hub here? Like, are like a dozen or so
like
ships?
it's like the market, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You got at any time you've got a dozen or so ships that are anchored in the harbor. They bring goods. So these trips are planned. It's not random that a ship comes into Vuland. A particular family, tiefling family, nomadic family, will have prearranged a time that they are going to come to Vulan, meet up with a merchant that they have a relationship with, trade goods based on whatever was decided, and then they'll basically take their goods. So what they're looking for from the merchants are, ration, timber, materials, mining tools.
Anything they can't find.
Yeah, the stuff that's hard to get in the Sea of Sand in exchange for the diamonds, and they then just, they'll head off back into the Sea of Sand, and they may not come out again for another year.
And there's all sorts of like kiosks or sort of like pop-up, stands throughout the docks that they sell their wares. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, any, weapons, armor, things like that would just be a random find depending on which merchants happen to be in Vuland at that time.
Got it.
So once we're kind of outside the store, Corey's going to kind of stop the group for a moment and be like, I think I need to refresh everybody just to some things we need to keep an eye out for. And Kogaan, you wouldn't have been around for this, so I think you'll find this handy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we met the Zandani sisters, they had what is we could, figure out was a sunstone gem that had embedded themselves in these two sisters, and they were seemingly under the control of this. Now, Douglan, would he have been a magic user, do you think? He did vanish.
That's true. I don't know. It seemed a little more sinister than that, though, with the connection that he had with those.
But we ran into an individual, Kogaan, that seemed to be controlling these young ladies through these sunstone pennants.
Yep.
So keep an eye out if you happen to see someone peddling sunstone. And it's kind of a pinkish, orangish stone. And it must come from this region, I'm not sure, but these two young ladies had managed to get themselves snarled up in it. But just keep your eyes open for anybody. And Douglan, you and I will probably be the better ones to keep our eyes open for that damn stone. But I think if we ask around the docks, perhaps we might find a merchant who's done some dealings with the Sandani family. And perhaps using that connection, if they operate like clockwork, we will know exactly when to come into contact with them.
Weren't they embedded in them?
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah, they were embedded in their chests.
Yeah.
Had originally bought them, I think, as jewelry, and then they embedded themselves once they started to wear them.
Yeah, they were wearing it like a necklace, and then one day it embedded itself in their chest.
Yeah. And so we'll describe like kind of how big they were, and that's Kogaan has an idea.
Don't buy any custom jewelry and put it out while you're here.
Okay.
But let's Cora, that's a fantastic idea. Perhaps we could look for a vendor specializing in these types of stones.
Well, if all transactions seem to go down on these docks, I think this will be a great place for us to gather a bit of intel. So perhaps, as we walk along, each of us ask a few questions. We're looking for Zandani tribe, or family, and sunstone pennants. And if anyone happened to see, well, as our good boy Kazir pointed out, humans are here and there, but so trying to find Alanis by the description of her being a female human ain't going to do us much.
What color is her hair?
Let me recollect.
It's brown.
DM.
Brown.
Also, if I may, perhaps let's maybe keep the asking around until we know more from Athena, because if Alanis rubbed the wrong person the wrong way, then we're announcing ourselves to be targets.
That's a good suggestion, Douglan. Perhaps we just ask about the Zandani family and, procuring a little sunstone.
There you go.
Did you defeat this magic user person?
No, I reckon that I may have made an enemy. I interrupted him and he cursed me and disappeared.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
He was not
We're
happy with
not
us.
pen pals.
No.
But we don't know if the sunstones themselves are bad or if they are just a conduit for magic.
No, I don't think these two tiefling girls appreciated leaving their homeland under the control of these pennants. It was not something willingly happening to them.
I see.
This is a bit sinister.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I, for
So
one,
we
would
will
just...
peruse the docks, gentlemen.
Kogaan is interested in just buying a backup weapon. He just wants to get like a warhammer, just so he has something on hand in case Dragon Tail gets disarmed, or has to, whatever happens out in the desert. Who knows?
All right. Okay, so you're working the docks, trying to find
Yep.
out if you can, if anyone
I'm
knows
schmoozing.
anything about the family. And Kogaan, you are trying to secure yourself a weapon. So, Kogaan, give me an investigation check. See if you're able to,
Find a store.
through your conversations, figure out someone that might be... All right. You do not find anyone that is dealing with that particular type of weapon.
Can are there? I mean, I would love to Douglan is looking around to see if there's any exotic stands of anything, like not so much spices, but are there like elixirs someplace? Are there? Well, he looks over if there's any elixirs. He thinks of Lafferty, so maybe he shouldn't do that.
Starts crying.
Yeah, no, but like if there's anybody that is selling, I mean, I'll flat out say it. If there's any type of magical item of any kind anywhere, we have a few coins that we can spend. So just shot in the dark, so to speak.
So no one seems to have any knowledge of magic items here. Not even potions. Nothing like scrolls. That just doesn't seem to be something that Vulan deals with or has access to. I would like a group investigation check to find out if, as you guys collectively work the docks, you find out anything about the sisters' family. Wow, guys. Holy moly.
Yep.
I did get a natural 20, but I have a -1 investigation.
I just rolled like a 19. I got to roll again. It didn't show up.
And Landis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Landis's roll, but that's
Root
okay.
rocking.
23, 19, 16, and 21. Yeah.
With
If there's
the
anything
nat-
out there, we found it.
With the
Absolutely.
nat 20, I got to point out.
So you know, in talking to merchants, in talking to locals, in talking to some of the store owners and stuff as you work your way through the morning, people remember the sisters. They know the family. They remember the sisters coming with a human girl. And as far as you can piece a story together, the human girl, who you imagine was Alanis. So the family, they do not actually, they don't come to Vulan as sort of their port of operation. So Alanis made arrangements for a guide to take the sisters back to their family. And they departed. Alanis stayed, but the sisters with their guide departed Vulan shortly after they arrived.
Do we know where?
No, what the guide figured he would be able to find the family. They know the area of the Sea of Sand that family operates in. It is closer up towards... just let me get the name here.
Sarka.
Zray?
Zray. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're somewhat nomadic. That's why there's not really a fixed.
Her family are nomadic, or their family are nomadic diamond miners.
And do they happen to know who the guide was? Or what outfit would have brought the sisters to wherever?
Nobody knows exactly, or nobody can remember. Like I said, the guides are almost nomadic in the nature of their comings and goings. But the arrangements were made, and the sisters departed shortly after arriving in Buland.
Cool. Now, Douglan, I don't think you questioning that seagull for 20 minutes was necessary, but at least we found something.
I mean, it helped, obviously.
Well, Kogaan, you did talk to an anchor for 10 minutes, but, you know, I'm not going to say a 16 was that bad, but when there's a 21 and a 23, you know,
when you have experience smithing like I do, they say the metal speaks to you.
All of the information came from the seagull.
Oh God, that's so funny.
All right, so you have a fairly successful morning of investigating about the sisters and Alanis on the docks. You know, folks do remember her because she did show up, you know, with the Tiefling sisters. It's now... You're now nearing sort of noon.
We didn't see any peddlers of this sunstone.
You found sunstones all over
everywhere,
the place.
Right? Yep. Yeah, it's just a local stone.
It's very popular stone that's found and sold out of the Sea of Sand.
Okay.
Nowhere near as valuable, obviously, as the diamonds. But there are merchants who buy them all the time.
Common enough trinket.
Yeah, because they do make nice jewelry. Nice enough that the sisters themselves were wearing it.
Yeah. Okay. So then our next big lead would be Athena.
Back to the Whisper Inn. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would reckon that pot of fish stew is ready for you, Kogaan.
Seafood chowder.
You make your way back up to the Sand Whisper Inn. There are now some folks sitting around in the common area enjoying lunch and some drinks. And you see a woman behind the bar with Rohirri, who you presume is likely Athena. She is a human.
Cory, go. Do your thing.
I will
compliment her horns.
She's human.
She's
indeed.
human.
I know.
Well, damn, you got a pointy
horns.
sit, my dear. You got a pointy sit.
Tell her how horny she is.
Oh, Douglan, how did you ever capture your woman?
It was a prearranged marriage.
Yeah, it was an array.
It must have been something advantageous for at least one of them.
She was blinded by gaslight.
He just holds up his fingers. That's
All right.
how many.
You
With
arrive.
that, I will leave.
You arrive at the bar, and the human lady comes over. You see Rohirri is busy dishing up the chowder, and Kazir is working the tables, bringing drinks and food and that. they got the lunch rush going on, and
Would I be
the
able to request a bathroom break before we get into this role play?
absolutely we can do that. I won't turn down one myself. Okay,
Sorry,
we
gang.
will. No, we'll take a quick bio break here, and we'll be back shortly. Back shortly. Okay, we're back. And you are approaching the bar in hopes of talking with Athena.
Corey, sorry, was going up.
Yeah, as Corey approaches, he'll be like, I reckon you must be Miss Athena.
I am.
Well, I'm Corey Fairbanks, and Miss Rohina happened to mention you may have known a friend of mine, and I would love to ask you a few questions if you would be obliging.
Well, I'll be of any assistance I can. Who is it? Who is your friend?
Miss Alanis Moonwatcher?
Alanis, yes, indeed. Fine girl. She spent a couple of weeks here at the inn.
Indeed. Well, Miss Athena, my friends and I, we've secured ourselves some accommodation in your fine establishment, and if you'd be willing to sit down with us this evening for dinner, if we could steal you for a few moments to ask you some questions about our friend Miss Moonwatcher, we'd appreciate that kindness.
Well, do you want to wait till then, or I could certainly speak with you now if the conversation is not going to be too long.
I think now would be perfect, as long as my friend Kogaan there could get himself a hefty portion of that seafood chowder. I think we'd be willing to sit down.
Kogaan, as you entered, you notice the wonderful aroma of the seafood chowder is now mixed with the smell of fresh baked biscuits. You're ready to eat.
I am.
Athena says, absolutely. I will, I'll have a Rohiri bring us all something to eat then.
I think we could find room for some of your delicious concoctions.
She leads you all out to one of the tables that are on the outside. At this point in the day, the Vulan is already mostly in shade by where the sun has moved over on the other side. It's very nice ocean view out on the little patio, and you all take a seat around a table there, waiting for the arrival of your food. Now, what is it you'd like to know about Alanis? She was a lovely lass. Said she came here for a little relaxing vacation, although I find it a strange place to do so.
Well, Miss Alanis and I, we go a ways back. I don't know if she had mentioned it, but she's from Whalespell, and I used to frequent the bar her and her comrades used to play music in. She's quite the musician.
Yes, she played here several times, and wonderful. She said she was a part of some music group in this Whalespell.
That's right, the Willow Winds. They were quite the attraction for Whalespell. We were quite lucky to have them. That's part of the reason I'm here, Miss Athena. It would seem that Alanis was supposed to be back some time ago, and no one seems to know where she's gone herself off to.
Well, now she left about 2 weeks ago. She hired herself some guides, 3 that I recommended, very highly regarded guides. She wanted to go into the Sea of Sand to see it. And I definitely recommended to her that there was nothing worth seeing out there in that terrible, terrible place. But she insisted that it was an experience that she wanted to have. Part of the reason that she had traveled here on her vacation. And now that I think about it, I believe one of the guides involved had returned a little while ago. Let me see. I believe his name is Zamir. Yes. And yeah, I have heard he's back in town. Yes, I hadn't given it much thought. One can only assume that Alanis is still trumpsing about the desert, looking for whatever it is she was interested in. Very adventurous girl. I guess it doesn't surprise me.
How long ago did she leave?
2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
Seems a long time to be in this dangerous desert.
Whereabouts would we be able to locate this Zamir?
Most of the guides spend their time down at the last stop. If you were down at the docks at all, it's a shady little tavern down there that they all like to go to and tell each other how tough they are, I guess.
And is there anything you could tell us that we would be able to identify this Zamir from some other guy? See, I made a joke there, fellers.
He's a tiefling. Just ask
Horns.
at the tavern. They'll know who he is. The guides are always looking for work, and if you mention that you're looking to hire him, you'll most certainly find him.
Now, I know these questions might sound a little peculiar, but you know, when a friend goes missing, you want to get as much information as you can. Now, was Alanis asking you questions about anything in particular about the region or objects or people?
She was a little standoffish about her reason. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I've never caught your name. Corey, was it?
Corey Fairbanks,
Yes.
madam.
Corey,
I apologize.
it's okay. I do believe you mentioned it when we first introduced. But Corey, I could tell that Alanis was trying to tiptoe around her reason for traveling into the desert. There was definitely something out there that she wanted to see. I don't know what that was, but she was very headstrong about the fact, despite my many attempts to get her not to go, there was something that she definitely wanted to see out there. Maybe Zamir would be the one who will know for sure what it was.
Well, if he happened to be part of the guides that had brought her, at least it'll be somewhere to start. That I know for sure. Yeah, you know, I'll be as honest as a man of my sort can be with you, my dear. Alanis's friends think she's got herself caught up in something that she shouldn't be. Alanis is the kind of girl that operates on impulse and emotion, and she got herself caught up with a couple of gals, and last we saw her, she was headed off with these gals to explore the Sea of Sand, and now that she has not returned, we've decided to come looking for our friend.
I definitely get that impression of her myself. A wonderful girl. Can drink an amazing amount of liquor.
No, you're talking about the Landis I know.
But I would say that if anyone is going to know what it was that dragged her out in that God's forsaken place, it would probably be Zamir.
Now, you being of a foreign sort round these parts, perhaps from one foreigner to another, what is the best way to approach negotiations with Tiefling?
With the guides,
Correct.
there is no negotiating here. It is a very simple understood. They will name their price. If you agree to it, they will guide you.
Okay. Well then, gentlemen, are we content with our questions? Miss Athena's been much obliging.
Zandani family, perhaps?
Are you familiar with the Zandani family?
They are tieflings, I would assume.
Yes.
I don't believe that they frequent Vuland. I'm not familiar with the name.
Yeah, Alanis's roommate happened to mention that the girl she got caught up with and swept up in whatever drama they dropped to her were their last name was Zandani, so we're just trying whatever we can.
Yes, Alanis did mention the girls. She did not mention their name. She had been traveling with them, she said, but they had parted ways upon arriving in Vuland.
Yeah, that's what we gathered so far.
Sunstones?
What was that, Douglan?
Sorry, Corey, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Athena, do you know if there's a specific vendor or family that deals in sunstones?
I'm not.
Thought our investigations at the dock revealed that they're fairly common.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
was no real,
it's a commonly mined, gathered stone in the sea of sand that's sold to merchants. It's not nearly as valuable as the diamonds that they go after, but they find lots of the sunstone in the desert. And
So most likely just a conduit.
As Corey is talking with Athena, Landis will lean into Kogaan and be like, Kogaan, my friend, what is your feeling of this woman? Does she speak the truth to us, or is she hiding something?
I have to admit, I've been really preoccupied with this chowder, but it's very delicious. So I haven't been.
Kogaan's already on
chowder
bowl.
all over his face. Like
He's on bowl 3 of the chapter.
He's right here. Yeah.
Fair enough, my friend.
I like it.
I am concerned maybe that this guide, if he came back before bringing the person he was guiding, maybe there is something afoot there.
I agree.
Especially if this sounds like this last stop place is full of rowdy people, and perhaps sometimes that can mean people of ill repute character. So maybe this guide was not.
Athena did recommend them.
I see what you're saying. Well, we should go to the last stop, I think.
I think that's the next place to hit. Indeed.
Okay, you finish up your meal. Athena gets back to work, helping get cleaned up from lunchtime. And you You head back down to the docks. You had seen the last stop while you were spending time on the docks this morning. And, yeah.
Perhaps, gentlemen, before we interact with this Zamir, we head back to our merchant friend and buy clothes that blends us in a little more. I wouldn't mind going in looking like we might have a bit more knowledge of this area than we look currently. Right now I feel we stand out like foxes in a hen house.
Like maybe get these sand cloaks.
Yes.
Okay. And goggles. Yes, we can wear goggles on our heads.
Perhaps not into the tavern, but yeah, having goggles with us
Not
might
on
make
our
us
face,
look-
but just like I can imagine you see these people around. So
they have goggles on.
their
Yeah, I get
goggles
you.
are around their neck, and it looks very casual.
What do you think, Douglan?
Well, I like the idea, but our big friend here is going to stand out no matter what.
Right, but at least I can look like I have experience with the desert.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm looking for is making sure we don't look like we're the next easy mark to
Greenhorn.
come walking off the street.
Yeah. I agree.
Perhaps when we get out the store, I'll throw some sand in your face and we look a little dirty.
Oh, I was thinking the same thing. Pat some dust on my face.
And Corey will elbow Douglan a little bit, like, cheer up, my friend.
Not
Just-
quite ready to forgive that damn elf. But let's go.
Oh man.
So we'll quickly head back to that merchant and pick up some sand clothes and goggles.
All right, you make your way back to the Grit, where where Karzir is very happy to assist you. So, guys, I'm gonna try. I've got a store here. I don't know how many people I can share it with at a time. So the way I'll share the store with you, you can choose the items that you want. It'll automatically tell you what the price is. When you hit buy, it'll take the money off your character sheet.
And does it automatically throw it in your inventory?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, that's handy.
We'll see if it works. I'll Nightingale, I'll drop it on you there. You see it?
I see the grit.
Okay. I'm gonna throw it on Kogaan here. It may disappear for you, Barry. We'll see what happens here.
It's on my screen.
You still
I
have
still
it, Barry?
see mine.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So
Nice.
I can give it to all of you guys. Douglan?
Yes, sir.
Oh, but
And-
your goggles showed up in my cart.
Okay,
Oh, so we're all sharing the same cart.
yeah. Okay, so we'll have to do it just one at a time.
Amazing.
So all we want to get right now is the desert clothes and the goggles, right?
Yeah, and I think
Sure.
I believe whoever hits the buy button will get that.
Now, would that buy it for both Landis and Nightingale, or just the one?
I don't think
yeah.
so.
Let me see. I'll hit buy. So it's Nightingale. So
Yep.
I'll close it, and then whoever you drop it on next will do the next one.
Well, mine's open, so I'll try it.
Yeah, I think whichever character you have highlighted, like combat, when you
Okay.
click buy, that's the one who will buy it.
Well, then I'll have to get it open. Can you send it to me again, Colin?
Yeah,
And
I'll just
let
wait
me-
until.
Yeah, Kogan's done.
But it makes it a real quick way to. There you go. That
Well,
went to
Kogan, that
Kogaan.
looks like a handkerchief hanging off your shoulders. You're such a big boy.
Douglan, are you going to
There's
use
various
it?
sizes. Isn't it?
Yep. How
Can
do
he
I-
not maybe perhaps get a dwarf size one? Can you get him a full size one?
So if you go ahead and again,
Desert clothes. I think I did it.
yeah, click buy.
Bye.
That went to Douglan. Perfect.
Oh, nice little backstreet
Uh,
action.
And who do I need to give this to next?
Landis.
Landis.
If you want to play this game for two.
While we're shopping, Kogaan just speaks with Douglan for a second, and he says, Douglan, you gave me the wisdom earlier when we were flying. Now I have some Dragonborn wisdom for you. We have a saying. It is Tid Bo Amativ, and it means time flows onward. And it is an expression to mean just moving past something. So please, Tid Bo Amativ, you must leave the Lafferty thing in the past. Let it go. See what time brings forth. It's not worth dwelling upon it. It's happened, has happened.
Kogaan, I do appreciate the words. I do. I just, I have a thing about people leaving me.
I understand.
That's all. But yeah, I gotta look forward. And I still have you guys to protect. So
Of course, we protect each other.
I'm here. But thank you.
All right, so everybody made their purchases. That works. I love that little app. That's awesome.
Very cool.
It throws it right in your inventory, takes the coin off your sheet. Done and done.
Mentioned to the shopkeeper, we may still be back later, maybe tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, stop by. Whatever you need.
Cool.
All right, to the last stop.
Okay, you make your way to the last stop. Lots of tieflings milling about outside. The place, is fairly full inside, and you arrive at its front door.
We enter.
Okay.
Let's do this.
The last stop is there's probably 15 to 20 people sitting at tables around. It doesn't look particularly divey to you. It's more just it's the place where all the guides come, and the locals tend to call it a bit divey, but because only the guides come here. But the place looks fine to you guys. You've eaten and drank it worse.
It's nice to come to a place to have a drink after expertly navigating the desert once again.
My dear Lord. You're as smooth as silk, my friend. Let's grab a table before you attract any more attention.
Perhaps, Kogaan, we can let Corey do the talking.
But I'm letting people know that we are very used to the desert and we belong here.
And we've
And I'm
got
sure
horns.
I'm sure those that are announce it.
Well met and good horns, everyone who has them.
Okay, you guys find a table, have a seat, and the bartender is kind of running the place. He comes up. What'll it be?
An ale for everybody. Everybody here want an ale?
I would like a crisp glass of water.
All right. We only got the High Sun Ale here. Is that going to be good for you?
You have a mead?
We don't. Sorry.
I will try your ale.
Very well.
Sorry, barkeep. We were sent down here by Athena. We're looking for Zamir. She said he was a guide worth getting the attention of.
He looks around. Over there with that table of 3.
Well, thank you.
Bartender goes off back to pour you some High Sun Ales.
Well, should we approach Mr. Zamir together, or you want me to go fetch him and bring him over for a chat?
You are the expert in this situation, so maybe You let us know if you want us to
Okay,
accompany you or if you go.
Kogaan, you stay here. Douglan, you make sure he doesn't discuss with strangers how great he is walking the sands. And I'll go see if Zamir wants to come over for a quick chat.
Or how much gold he has.
Yeah, in his overflowing pouches. Yeah. Dear Lord. Okay, Corey will head on over to the table where Zamir is, and he'll walk up. Beg your pardon. I'm looking for Zamir. He comes highly recommended for Miss Athena.
One of the guides looks up. I'm Zamir.
Well, Zamir, my friends and I hear you've got some experience in the Sea of Sands, and we'd like to have a chat with you if you would be so willing to part with your comrades here.
Absolutely. He picks up his ale and follows you back to your table, where he grabs a chair and joins you.
What kind of person is this guy? Like, how does he look? Does he have a squinty eye?
Nope, he
Slur.
looks, of the tieflings you've seen in your life, there's nothing particularly remarkable. He does look quite fit and muscular and like someone who works hard for a living.
Yeah.
He is well dressed. Clearly in the desert garb that most everybody wears when they make their way out there. But there's there's nothing about him that you characterize as scuzzy in any way. He seems.
Okay.
For Kogan's sake, could you describe his horns and shape and rigidity, please?
No.
Did you say you bring him back to our table?
Yeah. He picked up his ale and came back and sat with the four of you.
Kogaan will be not analyzing, but paying close attention to the conversation that's about to happen here, just to see if he's detect any.
As Corey's walking back to the table, he's trying to signal to Kogaan to take the goggles off. As he's drinking with his goggles on, I am such a sand person.
Hey, don't tell me what my character does.
Sorry, I'm done. I'm just envisioning that in my head. It's more
Not
like
an idiot.
It's more like Douglan's got them on backwards, the strap over his eyes. I don't know how these work. Okay, as soon as Zamir gets on, we'll offer him a seat. Like, please have a seat.
Yeah, he grabs a chair from an empty chair from a nearby table, has a seat. You're interested then in a guide?
Well, I'm going to come clean with you, Zamir. You've been recommended to us based on a past job you had. You may remember a human girl named
Alanis.
Alanis?
All of you can immediately perceive Zamir is very uncomfortable with the subject.
Well, I can't help but notice, Zamir, that the near mention of my friend's name, it jogs your memory. Would you like to talk about that for a moment?
You are friends of Alanis, then?
I'd like to call myself her friend, yes.
I would suggest you grab your ales and maybe we take this conversation outside.
To detect any sort of hint of, I don't know,
I'll clock his group.
maliciousness or anything like that.
Yeah.
Kogaan, he seems uncomfortable with talking about this here.
Okay.
He kind of, he's shooting little glances around to make sure nobody is listening, very, very casually. but he gets up with his ale, waiting basically for you all to follow him.
Kogaan's dragon senses are tingling, so he's going to be a little bit on alert, maybe kind of loosen the flail in its clasp and stuff like that.
As we're walking out the door, Landis quickly grabs a little piece of paper and he folds up this little origami dog. And when they stop to wherever they want to be, he just puts the dog on the ground. And it's a cantrip that the dog, if a creature that is hostile towards us moves within 10 feet, the dog will move towards them at 10 feet per movement speed and lets out a large barking noise and then unfolds itself. So he just sets that down on the ground while we have our chat wherever we are.
Okay.
Neat.
Zamir just takes you you guys leave the last stop. He just takes you, there are tables outside. He takes you to a table that's a little bit away from where everybody else is, and sits down. And he says, about 2 weeks ago, Alanis hired myself and 2 other guides to take her into the Sea of Sand.
Mm-hmm.
She was wanting to go to a place called the Scar. I do not know how Miss Alanis came to know of the Scar, but she was determined and paid very well to get brought there. The other 2 guides and myself got her there. The trip to the Scar takes about 2 days if the weather is in our favor. During the trip, we came into contact with iceborne orcs who for some reason have started to show up in our desert. A battle ensued. Unfortunately, the other 2 guides were killed. It is my belief that Alanis and one of the guides was taken prisoner. I was lucky enough to get away.
Iceborne orcs
Yes.
in the Sea of Sand? Is that normal?
We heard from Thresh.
I had never heard of an iceborne orc before Alanis. She seemed to recognize who they were. I had known of orcs in the desert, something that has only happened in the last few Trigons. What they are doing there, I have no idea. But they seem to have taken up residence at the Scar.
Now, what would a fine gentleman like yourself, having survived such a harrowing experience, request of patrons such as ourselves to return to the Scar?
You are hoping to find Miss Alanis?
That is my hope indeed, yes.
I will take you there for 100 gold pieces in small gems.
Goddamn Lafferty.
Now, does this escort include supplies such as food and rations and water for these 2 days of journey, or we having to pack that ourselves?
You will be responsible to carry everything you need to survive the trip through the desert on your own.
I don't have any gems.
You guys can easily buy what you need in gems here.
I've got it.
Okay.
I just happen to have gems that these people covet.
Well, there you go.
I think it says here I have 4 small diamonds, and it says the cost is 100 GP.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
So I will hand them up to him and be like, Zamir, we'd like to leave as soon as possible, if you get the drift. My friends and I will need to pick up supplies for the journey, which I hope you inform us what we'll need in a bit more detail than, stuff. And as soon as we can get that supplies together, I'd like to leave.
We can leave at first light tomorrow. The trip will take us, as I mentioned, 2 days. My belief is if Alanis is still alive, she is with the orcs at the Scar. I did do my best to try and get to her, but I was far outnumbered, and Alanis had made it clear early on that she was able to look after herself, that none of us were to put ourselves in harm's way to protect her.
Does he look like he's telling the truth?
You can
Or trying to...
Inside check.
you can take an insight check if you'd like.
I will.
While he's doing that, how many orcs did you see?
Kogaan seems to be pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing standing out that's making you think he may not be telling you everything, but it doesn't seem that he's lying to you about anything he's telling you.
Roger that.
Now, as my friend here asked you, Zamir, what are the numbers of these orcs? Are we talking a dozen, more?
I can only estimate. I would say a dozen or more.
Now, what's this scar? You said you were quite surprised that Miss Alanis knew what this was. Is it something that your people keep a secret?
The scar is not a secret. The scar is a part of the tiefling story. Very few who are not tieflings know or care about it. But the fact that the orcs are interested in it has many tieflings intrigued. It is a story maybe I can share with you on the trip.
Now, why were you hesitant to speak of this inside? What of this story is of interest?
As a guide, we make our money based on getting our people to where they need to go. I did not succeed in doing that.
Fair enough. Reputation can make or break a man.
Was it just the 4 of you?
There were 4 guides total, along with Alanis. 5 of
4
us.
guides.
5 of us in total. 2 guides died. 1 was taken prisoner along with Alanis.
Well,
the reason
we are
the reason that we had the 4 guides is it is a region that is a little more treacherous than many parts of the Sea of Sand. We needed the strength of numbers if we came upon anything, not expecting that to be orcs.
Well, we are sorry to hear for the loss of your compatriots, but I'm pretty sure the party, the size it is for us right now, will be advantageous if we have to keep a low profile against these orcs. So if you think you are able to guide us with yourself, we don't want to bring any others into harm's way.
I appreciate your sentiment towards the other guides, but we all understand the desert is a dangerous beast, and anyone can be lost at any time. The 5 of us should be enough. I can guide, and if any type of fight should occur, I hope that you all can defend yourselves.
Landis will kind of pipe up. Mr. Zamir, what kind of creatures could we be facing? We've had some experience with sand, but is there things that are commonplace that we could maybe get a heads up on?
There are many creatures that live in the desert. Most commonly on this particular trek, we would be in danger of encountering giant scorpions that seem to call this region their preferred territory.
I am both terrified and intrigued. Well then, where shall we meet you come morning for departing?
Where are you staying?
Sandwhisper Inn.
Thank you, Kogaan.
I will meet you there at sunup. I do suggest that you go to the Grit. You will need proper clothing and goggles for the desert, as sandstorms can be very vicious and unpredictable.
Check it out.
You will need rations for no less than 6 days. We will be 2 days in, 2 days return, with 2 days in case. And you will each need to carry 2 water skins. Water is surprisingly easy to find in the Sea of Sand. But you will still need to carry 2 days worth.
Duly noted. While they're talking, Corey Fairbanks will fire up a dick of Easterly's finest.
A what?
He's smoking.
Cigar, man.
Easterly
I'm having a
cigar.
Well, the first word I heard was
Stick?
stick. Thank you.
Oh, you look all sandy over there, Kogaan. Look at you.
Yes. I have my sand cloak ready.
All right,
And the-
Zamir gets up. I will see you in the morning then.
Indeed you will, Samir.
He heads
We will-
back inside. And the 4 of you are left sitting at the table outside.
He's a little cagey.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's not proud of leaving Miss Alanis with some ass-born orcs.
Yes, well, he seems very fit, but maybe not much of a fighter.
Well,
They don't even sell weapons in this market, so. Yes, it will be interesting.
indeed.
But I think if it's just giant scorpions and orcs, we should be fine.
I think them are famous last words.
We'll be fine.
Well, we better head over to Grit there before he shuts his doors for the evening, since we're leaving in the morning.
Agreed.
How you feeling about all this, Douglan?
Well, he's either leading us straight into another ambush, or he's a man of honor that wants to right a wrong and had no hesitation heading back to where he lost his friends.
I mean, he is about to make a small fortune if it turns out well, so...
Yes, I did hand over a fair share of diamonds.
But dead men can't spend anything, can they?
Mm-hmm.
That is true, Douglan.
But we still need to keep our eyes open.
Well, this is the only clue we've got from this Landis so far, so I think we need to see it to the end.
We got to follow it. Indeed.
Agreed.
Well, let's go pick us up some skins.
Let's gear up.
Okay.
Play gear up tunes.
You head back to the Grit. Karzier is just having the best day ever. And I guess we want to buy another. Everybody,
Landis is like,
I think the only thing anyone
have
needs
the
to buy
foresight of
is
buying
rations or water skins, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Landis already picked up a second water skin when they were there the first time.
Is everybody good
Alright.
for rations then? You need at least 6 days.
I'll need to buy some rations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start here, Kogaan. I'll throw the shop for you.
I've got
Yeah.
a lot.
I got 21 sheets of paper. That's handy.
Yeah.
Wait, oh yeah, when you head into the desert, that's the best.
I just need a second water skin. I'm okay on the rations.
Yeah, I got a fair amount of rations. I'm good.
If you need me to buy like special desert rations, like jerky or
So-
whatever,
Douglan,
second water skin.
Yeah, I'll throw you the store. How are you doing there, Nightingale, Landis?
Yeah, I'll need the store. I just need a water. Actually, I'll just erase the gold and put 2 water skins. I already got one, so
The water skin's for 4 silver pieces. So
yeah, I can do that.
This is so cool. Trying to look if there's anything else. No. And I mean, guys, if you want, I know they said no animals. If we need a pack, I can keep my fine seed spell, but I was actually going to switch it tonight to aid
Oh,
instead of fine steed, because it sounds like even though it's magical and we'll be fine, but I don't know how practical it would be to call a steed in the desert. So
Nightingale's sitting there and he
It's magical. It doesn't need water or anything.
puts on the new water skin and looks at the old one. And he's like, I should probably empty this. It's full of void water.
nice. I mean, I can keep it, but
Your call. It's your character sheet.
no,
I'm putting some fresh water in there. It's all good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want this getting into the wrong hands and somebody else be sipping the juice, if you know what I mean.
I'm gonna keep protection from poison and go with aid instead of fine steed.
Beg your pardon.
So, when you finish up at the Grit, you head back to the Sand Whisper Inn, and head to bed for the night, I would assume. Any other business to attend in Vulan? You're ready to get rolling for the morning?
Yeah, I think I'm good, unless Douglan and Kogaan want to sauce it up with the locals. I'm sure they got a shop they do out there somewhere where they make locals or newbie people drink some sand. We call it the Dusty Shop.
The dusty gullet.
The Dusty Gullet. I like that.
All right, so you will be heading into the Sea of Sand. As Captain Murfitz was talking to you about on the trip down, as you go further inland in the Sea of Sand, the more desert it gets. So you kind of go from semi-arid to arid to full-on desert as you get. It'll be 2 days of travel in there. So to kind of put it in perspective, the daytime temperatures can get up to like 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 Fahrenheit for you, Egan.
Thank you.
And nighttime temperatures can get down to like -10. So it can actually get freezing at night. 14 degrees Fahrenheit for you American folk in the group.
You imperialist scum.
So, every night as the sun starts to set, as you've been told multiple times, the winds are going to pick up, and by dark you're engulfed in a sandstorm. That is a given every single night out there in the Sea of Sand. And then sandstorms can just brew up at any moment when you're traveling out there.
You can see them on the horizon, though.
Yeah, exactly. The winds pick up. You see the storm coming. You do have a little bit of time to react to it.
Cool.
Zamir arrives in the morning at first light.
Sorry.
Yep.
Colin, sorry. Before we go, Douglan's going to say to Corey, maybe we can get that little lad to get a note out to our crew about what we're doing.
Oh, right. My
That
message.
is a brilliant idea. I'll get our little friend, what was it, Zandri or Xandar?
Cassier.
That's him.
Yeah.
Everyone's got such exotic names here.
Yeah, he's got no problem. A couple of coppers, and he'll make sure the message gets to those on the Stargazer.
Perfect. The message will be encrypted in a binary sequence of astrological dates and navigational coordinates that only Landis understands it.
Great.
So,
I'm joking.
yeah, so the crew will be
Lafferty,
like,
is that you?
I don't know what it was. He's
We're
trying
still
to tell
trying to
us.
figure it out by the time we get back. No, it'll just be, we're gone into the sand of sea back in 5 days.
Okay.
Hopefully.
You make your way up the rest of the hillside from the ocean, and then you look out across the land. It's, Egan, at this point, I would say it's very California-like. It's semi-arid, lots of big rocky mountainous outcroppings, and you're making, but it gets more and more arid as you walk along. Zamir is not very talkative. He gives directions, and timelines, kind of saying, it'll be about an hour to that next rocky outcropping, and you stop for a break there. It is hot. It is hot. You very quickly
Feels nice.
You very quickly appreciate, and the wind seems to be just always blowing. Basically the entire time that you are moving along, there's just sand, it seems, blowing at you all the time, no matter which direction. All of you can't help but feel like the damn wind blows in all directions at once here. No matter which direction you face in, it seems like the wind is blowing in your face.
To kind of help with the temperature, Landis will, whatever is around our necks, let's say it's the bundled up cloak or whatever, I can chill up to a cubic foot of non-living material for an hour using prestidigitation. So I will chill everybody's neck area so that it helps our bodies stay cool.
You're wearing
Unnecessary.
you're wearing a it's like a hood that has a you wrap it around your face.
Shamog.
Yeah, so you just got where the goggles are. If you pull them up,
Yeah.
you're all kind of covered as much as possible.
So-
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So now we all kind of are cooler than before.
About halfway through the day, Zamir, there's a particular area where there's some good shade, so the group takes a break. He tells you that for today, your goal is to get to an area that is called Blessa. Blessa is a tiefling colony that is built into a mountainside. Again, it's still about a half day's travel. You'll get there before the sandstorms start, and you will take refuge from the storms in Blessa. So that is your goal for the day. As promised, towards the evening, the winds are starting to pick up more. You can definitely feel there's more sand in the air. And there is basically this sandstone-ish mountainside that the tieflings have built a colony in. It's basically their home inside of this mountain. You guys make your way in, and it's a tunnel system that goes down into a big cavern that's down inside of this mountain somewhere. There is a big, almost like a pond in the middle of this cavern, and they've built Blessa all around this water source. So this Blessa is a very common place for the tieflings, guides, and that to spend time hiding from the world outside.
Yeah, like they've got their regular routes kind of thing.
Yep. So you all make your way into Blessa. Zamir suggests that you stay the night. There is an inn there called the Black Roost Inn. And you're able to all get rooms. So it will cost you all a gold piece for the night.
Oh, damn.
Stay.
So there's like a little community here.
Yeah, there's a little community right here inside this mountain.
Cool.
And basically it thrives on the fact that it has this natural spring pool in the middle of it.
Is Douglan still packing that chest of coin around from?
Yeah, I'm flush, boys. I am flush.
Yeah, you're flush from carrying that chest all the time.
Yeah, it's so goddamn hot. I might have to go back to finding Steed and let him carry it for a while.
One day I think I will invent something called a wallet.
If we only had
A bag of bling.
A bag of bling. I like that. That's what I'll call it.
Where it's like a bottomless pit that can hold all the coins you could ever want.
Didn't we talk about it though? Like 100 coins, only like that, right? Like it's not that crazy heavy.
100
No.
coins is a pound, I believe. In the mechanics, I think so.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Then it's like, let's see.
18 pounds.
Is silver less than gold? Is that how it works?
It's all the same.
Okay. So yeah, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's like 8 pounds. That's it.
Yeah. It's a small chest.
Yeah, plus my normal stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I'm flush. But yeah, you keep paying for everything, Kogaan. I'm cool with that.
Sure.
No, I took it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Is Amir staying with us at the
yep.
Black Roost? Okay.
So you all settle in to the little the little tavern area that's inside of the the Black Roost. And Zamir, he starts having a few mugs of High Sun Ale, and he says, I told you that I would tell you the story of the Scar. The Scar is an important area to tieflings. You see, we are not from Emathan originally, as many of the races that now call Emathan home arrived here during the gatherings. During the last gathering, a rift opened in the area that is now known as the Scar. This rift was from our homeworld, where tieflings were the servants of great demons. This rift opened, and these demons poured into the area that is now known as the Sea of Sand. The inhabitants of the area fought back against the demons, and a great wizard was called to try and close the rift to keep these demon creatures from coming through. The spell that this wizard cast was much more powerful than expected, or at the very least, it had a much more powerful effect on the rift than was expected. The rift did close, but an enormous explosion emanated out, and it flattened the area now known as the Sea of Sand. Many, many tieflings were able to escape while the rift was open, and we have made this area our home.
Is that explosion why there's so much glass found in the region?
It is possible. No one truly understands what happened or what the explosion did. Much of the glass in the region is simply made by tieflings, as we have lots of sand to work with and are not particularly adverse to the heat required to turn the sand into glass. It is not known why diamonds are so plentiful. Maybe pressures or something from the explosion. We do understand that the Sea of Sand is an unnatural phenomenon, as this region did not seem to come back after the gathering, where one would expect the land to have repaired itself over time. Instead, it deteriorated into this desert that we now call home.
You know the name of the wizard?
I do not. Nor do I believe any tiefling would.
Would Landis possibly have heard of anything that maybe this jogged his memory?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know that this area was not always the Sea of Sand. Thousands of years ago, it was an area much like the Protected Lands. It was very rich. And just let me find my notes here real quick. Somehow managed to close it. Just looking for. Okay. So sorry about that. So before the last gathering, so that would have been the second gathering. Tieflings were not a part of the world. They came in during the second gathering. Before the second gathering, the region that's now known as the Sea of Sand was known as Plentiful. And it had, big, powerful kingdoms. It was a very rich part of Emathan back at that time. Big, wealthy kingdoms. When a rift opened here, something happened, and Plentiful was flattened, and the people tried to rebuild, but the area just died out, and so they spread to the winds across Emathan, and much of their story has been lost in the last 1,000 years. But Landis does remember, during the gathering, something happened here that destroyed Plentiful and turned it into the Sea of Sand.
Wild.
So Zamir goes, so ultimately, our world was lost when the rift closed. You will not find a single tiefling that believes we did not do better by escaping our world. A world known to us as Arkmith.
Arkmith was a bad place?
There we were slaves to the demons, who treated us very poorly.
Would these demons happen to have looked like large creatures with big pincer-like arms and then two smaller arms in the middle of them?
They are some of the demons who live there, yes.
Very curious. Remember our dream friends?
I
Well,
can't forget it.
Well, I'm very glad your people could escape such a place. My people, too, came during the second gathering. But I think perhaps... I do not know the history as well as I should, maybe. I do not know what part of Emathan Dragonborn came through. But I imagine it would be different if you were coming from one world and my people were coming from another, probably different parts of Emathan.
Rifts open up all over the place during the gatherings, and your Dragonborn people came through close to the area where you are, but that's not the only rifts that open to the Dragonborn world. And cool. Dragonborn came in various places in the world. So. All right, gents, we are up to the hour. I think it makes a good spot. We can pick up the conversation with Zamir as you hang out at the Black Roost Inn in Blessa after your first day of travel through the Sea of Sand. Any questions, comments, concerns before we call it a night?
Is it like how long does a water skin last?
I did look that up. I think a water skin is I think it's a half day.
Half day?
Someone did the math on it and said it's a half day of water. But you got to remember, Zamir said water is water. They know places in the desert that you can fill your skins, but you need to carry enough water for. Someone did the math on what a water skin would carry and how much water a person should drink in a day, and
it's probably like a liter or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we used a ration.
You use the
Right,
ration
travel
for the
quickly.
day, please.
Cool.
No, I think that's pretty good for.
Oh my god. I also have a decanter of endless water, so we're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
If we end
that's
up
right.
off trail, you know what I mean? We're stranded somewhere.
You mean we didn't have to
water.
buy all these stinking water skins?
Well, it's still good. It's still
Yeah,
good
yeah.
to have these water skins.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's easier drinking if you're all carrying your own water
Yeah.
skins.
If we
Well,
want to
that's
have a
great.
bath later or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that.
You're
Awesome.
you're clearly not going to have trouble getting more
Yeah.
water.
Corey's like, will that decant any booze?
No.
Oh. No, that was great, man. This is
Another
an
night,
interesting area.
the Sea of Sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
few little nuggets bubbling up that might start to be knitting things together.
Yep.
All right, I am going to close out the session for the night. So thanks, everyone. We'll be back early in the new year. So this is our last session before the holidays. So happy holidays, everybody.
We'll be back next year.
Yeah, we'll be back next year.
Well, don't forget Tavern Talk, people.
Absolutely. Tavern Talk next week. Okay, I am going to take us out and we can finish up our night.
Right arm.